Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. You're listening to episode 110. My name is Patrick. I'm joined by Saif. Say hi.
Yeah, hello.
And Steve. Say hi.
Siga Flognark.
I almost feel like I recognize that. Don't know where from. Probably insulting a Scandinavian culture. Where is that from?
It's from the hit video game that was released in 2008, Spore.
Ah, yes. I actually played way too much. Okay. Random tangent.
What a gang! What a goat of a game.
So you say that, right? I agreed with you back when I was. I enjoyed Spore so much. Not only did I have the collector's edition, I had the Prima official strategy guide for Spore.
Oh, huge!
Which mostly because this was before the age of widespread internet. Because I had bloody maybe not dial-up, but like ADSL at my house.
Yeah, very clear.
And could not look up without the guide, had no idea that you could choose, I think it's like nine different, the hell were they? Like classes, archetypes, civilization types in space.
Yeah, yep.
Based on types, yep. All of the alignments that you had going through the game. Anyway, absolutely sick. And then Galactic Adventures came out whenever that was, 2011 or whatever.
That was a shit expansion. That's my hot take. It wasn't very good. But at the same time, I pirated it like in 2015 or 16 or something.
Yeah.
The game itself holds up. The expansion is just a shitty third person.
That's fascinating. I'd actually almost enjoy a watching a lockout speedrunny, almost like Nuzlocke type thing for Spore, because I think that would actually work quite well for the format. What I was gonna say, I really enjoyed the game. And then someone sent me all of the dev diary, blog posty stuff about what they wanted that game to be versus what we got, and it's really hard to unsee it.
Yeah, the cut content and what EA took away from us.
Yeah, it's like I really enjoyed what we got, but man, what it could have been.
Yeah.
Oh. Plus, rest in peace. That was Maxis, eh? That was a Maxis game. Am I high?
I believe so. Yes.
I believe that was Maxis game. Anyway, rest in peace, Maxis.
It was. Yeah.
Shout out to the family. Right. I guess that's the intro taken up. Man, just absolutely threw me for a loop there, Steve. Right. What do Steamcharts? Seth, you've been oddly quiet. I assume it's because you don't play Spore. Absolute loser. But do you have Steamcharts?
I played a demo of Spore, and that was it.
The hell what do you do for a demo for a game like Spore?
I think it was just a character creator. And then a small opening section.
So you made a penis.
I wasn't that creative.
my favorite one is that every so often your game would be like, you made it to the creature stage. Look out, you've just made contact with this character created creature, and it'll be like a letter. It'll be like a sentient W walking around. And you're like, yeah, maybe there was something to the whole Darwinian evolution thing. I don't think the letter W really survived in nature that well. So anyway, Steamcharts.
So I got 4 games with Horizon in their name.
Ah, interesting. Okay. Yep.
We've got Horizon Zero Dawn. We've got Horizon Forbidden West, Forza Horizon 4, and Forza Horizon 5. I just want you guys to rank these from lowest player count to highest player count.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna guess Horizon 4 lowest, Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West, Forza Horizon 5. That's my guess.
And Steven?
I think I'd probably do the same.
Wow, this guy.
Would I? Well, I was gonna go first, but you really interrupted me. You know what? I'm gonna flip it. Let's go Forza Horizon 5.
At lowest.
Horizon Forbidden West.
Absolute madman.
Forza the lowest, and then Horizon the Forbidden West, and then Horizon the first one that came out. I don't know.
Zero Dawn.
I can't remember release Horizon. Zero Dawn. That's the one. Yeah.
And then where's Forza Horizon 4 on this?
Oh, that's even further. I didn't even want. I think I had to say it. Yeah, that's last.
That's last. Okay.
Yeah.
So at the bottom is Forza Horizon 4 with 40,228. Then it's Horizon Forbidden West with 40,427. Horizon Zero Dawn with 49,582. And then Forza Horizon 5 with 80,745.
Wow, 80,000. Damn.
Is that what I said?
No, you went
Yeah,
the
but-
opposite direction.
Yeah, we were going lowest to highest.
Sorry, I was going highest to lowest.
Clearly.
Never Another week, another Steven doesn't understand Steamcharts.
Don't worry. Redemption round, because I also have a Steamcharts because I thought this one was funny. This is episode 110. I have 2 games. One of them is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Oh boy.
One of them is Exoprimal. All I want is so both have less than 200 players. I'll say that out of the gate.
Fuck, that's grim.
Yep. All I want are there more players in either of those games, so like more or less for Exoprimal, more or less for Suicide Squad, than the number of episodes that we've recorded.
Oh, Jesus. I reckon there's more players in Suicide Squad than our episodes.
Okay.
And I reckon there's less amount in Exoprimal.
I'm going to go the opposite. I think there's less in Suicide Squad and
Fuck
more
you.
in Exoprimal.
Double fuck you, Saif. Steve got the redemption round. There
Oh,
are
Jesus Christ.
Eat shit.
44 people playing Exoprimal.
I was hoping that the shooters for Exoprimal would come in clutch for me.
Yeah, same. And there are 181 people playing Suicide Squad.
Oh,
I'm
that's so
surprised
sad
by
for
that.
Suicide Squad. The game's like, what?
What, that it's higher than you thought?
Yeah. I thought Suicide Squad was dead in the water and no one was playing it. You know the final season story already leaked for that? Everyone knows what the ending of that game is now.
Wow. Is the ending a dumpster fire like the rest of it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
Oh,
it
we'll
leaked.
get them next time.
It leaked when the game came out.
Do you guys want me to just go over like a quick
you
summary?
say-
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
I might join.
Do we want to talk about Suicide
Yeah,
Squad?
I might join the 181 players one day.
All right, I won't do it then.
No, do it.
Okay, so spoiler warning for anyone that cares about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League spoilers.
So mute your microphone. Mute your audio, and then leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And then by the time you all do that, you should be able to go fine. So go for it, Steph.
Yeah, so the final character they're adding to the season passes, battle passes thing is going to be Deathstroke, and the story tied to Deathstroke is that they just went ahead and killed all the other Brainiacs that you don't kill in the game because they know the game's dead, so they're just going to kill off like half of the Brainiacs in one go.
Wow.
Oh, bit sad. But at the same time, I have no attachment to this story, so I don't care.
Yeah, because the ending of Suicide Squad goes, oh, by the way, you killed one Brainiac, but there's 13 of them. And each season is like, oh, you're going to take out another Brainiac. And then they're like,
okay, now I
okay.
understand.
okay, the game's not going to live past season 4. We're just going to kill off the other, like, 9 of them off screen.
Okay, now that's actually fucking grim. Oh, by the way, we won. Oh, okay. Ugh. Oh, well. All the best to people that like Suicide Squad.
All the worst to them, actually.
You know what? Popular thing bad. You're right, Seth.
But it's not popular.
I can't believe you saw Red Surf like that. Like,
New thing bad then. New thing bad then.
I'm just trying to quickly randomly see if by some miracle we also have more episodes than people playing Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones. Okay, I was thinking of Sea of Thieves, and I was going to say Sea of Thieves is actually fairly popular.
Yeah, no. Sea of Thieves, I've heard they turned it around. I can't find Skull and Bones on Steamcharts. I'm not even sure if it's there. It doesn't matter.
That's rough. That is so fucking rough to
well,
hear.
no, I might just be typing it like an absolute moron, so who knows?
It's skull with the N and an apostrophe and then bones.
Yeah, no,
It's skull and then N with an apostrophe.
It's skull and bones, but it's like Toys R Us where one of the L's is backwards.
Oh, hang on. That's pretty funny.
Thank you.
I'm beyond something there, Pat.
Always have been. Around lunch for this week, other than telling me I've always been on to something, but that's a bad segue. You know what? No, you don't even get to speak off the back of how bad that segue was, Steve. Seth, what have you been up to this week?
Wrestlemania happened, and I've also been playing Dragon's Dogma 2.
Steve? After hearing Seth open with WrestleMania, I'm giving you the right to speak back. How was your week?
But I still got a talking stick.
It's too late. We've taken it off you. We've arcade you out of nowhere.
Don't compare me to
Is that
Ice Race
still a thing?
Speed.
I don't know. I don't know those words. Those aren't real. But anyway, I've been driving around Mexico in Forza Horizon 5. Vroom, vroom.
Took me a sec. I'm like, hey, wait, what? yeah, Horizon 5, gotcha. That's cool.
Vroom, vroom, vroom,
And sorry, I rudely talked over you, Seth. Other than I fucking knew he'd do it too. I
That's
knew
what
it was
sounds
going.
like.
Other than WrestleMania, I think you said Dragon's Dogma 2?
Beep beep.
Yeah, I played a lot of Dragon's Dogma 2, and it's not beating the allegations of being the best 7 out of 10.
Fascinating.
What the fuck does that mean?
I think he's going to tell us, Steve. I think
mean
that's the
best
point.
7 out of 10. It was
That's
the best 7
literally
out of
that's
10,
the
it's an 8.
cliffhanger. That's the cliffhanger. All right, just shut up and listen, and we might learn
I'm gonna
something.
punch him in the back of the head. I can't do another week of this drama.
Good thing it's
The
every 2
suspense-
weeks.
Literally making up
The
reviews
suspense is
now.
killing Suicide Squad. Kill the Justice League.
Good.
I want to commit Suicide Squad.
Kill the Injustice League. The Flash's what's the line? Green Lantern's favorite color is yellow. Right, what have I been up to?
What have you been up to, Pat? What's your week been looking like?
Thank you for asking, Steve. Glad that someone cares about me. I have been playing way too much Monster Hunter, and I have a couple thoughts. I think I teased this last time, but Avatar: Last Airbender live action, the Netflix one. I have some thoughts. Quick Monster Hunter update because I know everyone's dying to know. I don't know if I mentioned that I finally made it. So part of me wanting to go back and play Generations Ultimate is that everyone said the final boss is really cool. Holy shit, they were right. I knew the name of the final boss, but looked up nothing about what it was. I knew the icon because the monsters always have the little kind of 8-bitty pixel art icon of the monster. So I knew kind of the form that it would have, but I didn't know anything about like what the fight would be like or anything. And fight starts. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a cool monster. I think I understand what's going on. Get a third of the way into the fight, the monster's like, okay, now the fight really begins. And not only does the monster level up, but monster levels up like crazy. The music changes like crazy, and then the whole rest of the fight just goes so hard. Oh, it's so good. So glad that I went in blind. Farmed the shit out of it, made a full suit of armor out of its pieces, and went and cleared what I think is the hardest Village 10 quest. So I'm now really into the kind of end gamey stuff for Generations Ultimate, which is great because I've only put 120 hours into Generations Ultimate on top of the 500 something hours of Generations on the 3DS. I need help.
Help will not be received.
True.
Are you still enjoying it? It doesn't sound like you're enjoying it anymore.
Oh no, that's the sad part, Steve. I'm really enjoying it. I think that's the most tragic part. Is like I play World. I really really enjoy World, but there's something nostalgic about. To be honest, I think it's the particular style of play that I have. That yes, it's frustrating that I'm doing all of this sort of super post gamey content by myself, and I think Generations Ultimate scales all of that stuff to be at least 2 players. So it's just rough, but the way that I play, it uses a particular hunting style that you just have a massive invuln window if you dodge through an attack, if that makes sense. It's kind of a pain in the ass because if a monster attacks you twice quickly and you dodge the first one, you will still be in an animation when the second one hits, so you just eat shit regardless. But it does make for a more pleasant solo experience than if I was playing a similar game or like an older Monster Hunter game. What am I trying to say? If this was, say, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate...
I don't know.
Good question. If this was Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, there are like
always has
2...
been.
Hang on. Wait a minute. There have been like 2 playstyles that work really well for soloing that I've found or that gel with my playstyle. Those styles don't really exist in the same way in Generations Ultimate, but there is a different style that exists in Generations Ultimate that also appeals to how I want to play when I solo things. And so what I mean to say is I'm enjoying it because I was lucky enough to have other people playing Generation 4 Ultimate at the same time as me, because it was a game that had actually come out semi-recently when I was playing it. Generations Ultimate, actually, holy shit, I actually think there are more people playing Generations Ultimate than there are playing Exoprimal. I have no stats to back that up, but just when I've checked how many people are playing online, because you just like search for lobbies just to see how many people are up there, I think it might be around 40 or more than 40. That's nuts. Anyway, I might actually start winding down Generations Ultimate once I clear out the last few, I'm not looking to do 100% completion or anything because, good lord, there's too much content in that game. But I want to knock out the rest of the village quests, so there'll probably be 1, maybe 2 more Monster Hunter updates from me. I feel like I always slam a Monster Hunter update into my Around the Lounge segment, but here we are. Why don't we hit Wrestlemania? From downtown, RKO, watch out, watch out.
Dun.
Yeah, that's the one.
That one's John Cena.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Always has been.
You know what? Just for that, I'm going to be throwing in a VTuber article into the news docket later.
I will be being very sick.
So yeah, WrestleMania happened 2 weeks ago, I think it is at this point. And I think I've talked about it last year when I covered WrestleMania, but the event is so big now for WWE that they have to do it over 2 days.
How big is it?
It's a full week experience, but like the main event itself is 2 days. So we got a Saturday show and a Sunday show, and they stack the card with as many people as they can. I'm going to like give every match that happened, but I won't do a deep analysis of every single one. I might just do a quick, yeah, I like this one was okay sort of review for them, but there will be a couple that I think will be important-ish for like telling the story of what's happening in WWE at the moment, and those will be the ones that I focus on a lot. So first on the card was Australian icon Rhea Ripley fighting Becky Lynch for the Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley won that one. Very good match, really strong match that I think is one of the better ones that happened.
It's not real.
I know it's not real.
It's just, yeah, it's like it'd be a good match. Look, I guess the performance is good. I don't know.
The performances
As
and the
somebody who's
storytelling
told
in the match itself are good. Like, wrestling is a whole sort of different thing from like a regular fight. Like, a regular fight is just good based on like how good the fight is, while a wrestling match is how good the storytelling in the match is, how good the people wrestling are performing, the stunts done in the match, things like that. So it can still be a good match, even though it's not real.
Is wrestling live action anime?
Essentially. A lot of people jokingly and affectionately call it redneck anime. And it'll never be those allegations.
Continue on.
Yeah, so Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch, really strong match. I think it was one of the better ones throughout the entire weekend, but not the best one. There was a 6-person tag team ladder match that I think was really smart, because for the past few years, the Raw and SmackDown tag team titles have been held by one tag team. So they split up the tag team's titles this time by having the Raw tag team titles hanging on one side of the ring and the SmackDown ones hanging on the other side of the ring. And whoever pulls down whichever brand title, they became that brand's tag team champions. So the match technically had 2 teams winning. And that was a really good way to just do the splitting of those title belts finally.
To make sure that everyone gets a participation trophy. I get it.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio and Andrade versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. This one was just okay.
How mysterious.
It's got a lot of good high flying actions in there, but the match itself was just kind of I wasn't that invested in it. Okay, so this is where I need to start going into like more of the backstory of what's going on. So for the past few years, there's been a faction called the Bloodline, and they've been basically running the show and held the top position of WWE for a long time. And they're called the Bloodline because every member of it is from the coveted Samoan family of WWE. So there's this one family that's got a lot of people that just come into WWE and make their names as wrestlers all the time. So you've got people like The Rock, Rikishi, Umaga, and they go back like decades and generations. So this family's just in this company. The more recent members of the family are like Jay and Jimmy Uso, who are twin sons of Rikishi, and Roman Reigns, who's the head guy, who was the head guy of WWE for a while, and another guy named Solo Sikoa, who's Jay and Jimmy's younger brother. So over the last year, Jey Uso left the bloodline. He's become a good guy in the WWE now, and the past like half a year, his twin brother Jimmy has been interrupting all of his matches and giving him hell. So they finally had their like brother versus brother blood match, and it was shit. It was the worst match of the night. There was only one good spot where they just stood in the middle of the ring and super kicked each other in the face for like 2 minutes straight. A super kick being like where you kick them in their chin. And yeah, horrible match. There was a 6-woman tag team match. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi versus Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. This one was also just kind of a mid-match. I feel really bad for the faction Damage Control, which is where Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi are from, because their faction throughout the weekend just got absolutely slaughtered. So they looked really weak, and it sucks because they're the tag team champions and they just lost to a ragtag group of other women that just banded together to fight them. Sami Zayn versus Gunther. Probably the best match of the night. Not the night, the entire event. It's books like one of those underdog stories where Sami Zayn's always been an underdog in the WWE, and Gunther has the longest reigning Intercontinental Championship of run of the modern era, or maybe even ever. I can't remember completely. So yeah, it's just like this one big indomitable champion going against the underdog, and they really sell this match really well. And then the main event for the first night was the Bloodlines, The Rock and Roman Reigns going against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and whichever team won this match would decide how the main event of the next night would go. So the main event of the next night was going to be Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Championship, and if The Rock and Roman Reigns won the match, then the main event for night 2 would basically become a no disqualification match, and that meant The Rock could come in and try and screw Cody Rhodes over, because going back months and months of storytelling, Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble, which meant he got to pick what champion he got to fight at WrestleMania, and he wanted to fight Roman Reigns.
Sorry, there's something about funny about how you phrase that, where it's like he got to choose his champion. It just goes into like a character select screen.
Essentially, yeah. But before that, like on the New Year's resolution episode of WWE Raw, The Rock came out and like took his shot and said he wanted to go against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania himself. So there's like this whole storyline that was going on backstage. It was like, oh, well, The Rock called Cody Rhodes and convinced him not to take on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania so that he could have his turn. And then the fans went really negatively against that reveal. So they ended up having to flip the script again, have Cody Rhodes come out and go, actually, no, I'm going to take my shot at WrestleMania, fuck you, which made The Rock turn heel against Cody, heel in wrestling being the bad guy. And he's just been living it up as being the bad guy, trying to just soak it all in, to the point where at the Hall of Fame, when they inducted Muhammad Ali, hold on, I need to get her name. I think it's Lani or Lana, Muhammad Ali's widow. She gifted The Rock a fake belt called the People's Championship.
What a weird fucking gift.
I can't believe that all The Rock wanted was Final Fantasy Part 2 Rebirth on PS5, and he gets a fucking People's Champion belt.
No, he didn't want that. He wanted it on Xbox.
So her name's Yolanda Williams. Her nickname is Lonnie.
Londogs.
So the story behind that is that Muhammad Ali was known as the People's Champion, and then when The Rock was coming into WWE, he wanted to use the People's Champion as his gimmick. And he asked Muhammad Ali himself, like, hey, is this okay to do? And he sounded off on it. So it's just like further going into that kind of background storyline, while just being able to give The Rock a championship to hold to make him look like an even bigger dickhead when he comes out on stage. So yeah, that tag team match was fine. It went for 44 minutes. Half an hour of that was pretty bad. And then when it picked up into its like final gears and all the big spots were happening, that was really good. Like all of the ending spots and the way the match ended were really good. It's just that The Rock has been out of WWE for so long that first half hour of having to carry him through the match, and like it was just really slow and plotty and wasn't great. They could have easily halved this match length and it would have been fine. And the longest match after this was 17 minutes long. So this was more than double like the next longest match. But yeah, that was night one done. Night one overall was pretty good. A few sleeper matches and the final match being a bit until the ending, but having a strong ending brought it back. Night two, we got Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins.
Hey, hang on. How many nights is this?
2 nights.
Did you say this at the start? I wasn't listening.
2 nights.
2 nights, fucking hell.
Yeah.
And it's like 3 hours each. Wait, Jesus Christ.
3 to 4 hours, yeah.
Wrestling.
14 matches in total.
Wrestling.
Seth Rollins ended the night one, and then he had to open night two. And the whole his storyline was like, he's focusing too much on the bloodline. He's going to lose his title if he doesn't just focus on his title match. And that's exactly what happened. The match almost ended within the first 5 seconds of the match, but it ended up going on for 10.5 minutes.
I think it was a German who was also too focused on the bloodline at one stage.
All right, you're out.
No Avatar today for you.
Okay. Well, it's funny because it was actually a German that was focused on the concept of an avatar.
But yeah, in the end, Drew McIntyre ended up winning because Seth Rollins was too exhausted to spread thin and didn't have his head in the game of being the champion. And they instantly turned this on its head because the entire lead up, Drew McIntyre has been in CM Punk's space, who's just come back to WWE. And he's like celebrating and bragging in front of him, which ends up making someone else come in, cash in their like guaranteed at any moment championship opportunity and use it on Drew McIntyre and pinned him in 10 seconds.
Cash in all of their good boy points.
Next up was a street fight, a 6-man street fight. That one, it was fine. It was fun.
Which street did they fight? Like, there's 6 of them, so I imagine they picked like a large street.
It was called a Philadelphia street fight because it was in Philadelphia. Yeah, that one was just fine. Had some fun gimmicks like people going through tables because street fights always have tables and weapons used throughout it, but nothing really to write home about.
It's crazy that there's just an endless supply of trellised tables ready to go near any street fight.
It's true. There's like 30 tables underneath the ring to go at any moment. LA Knights going against AJ Styles. This was like just a big rivalry match that was going on for this, and this was probably like the second best match of the weekend. I just really enjoyed this one. I don't really have a lot to say about it, but it was a really good match. We're coming up to the end. The United States Championship match. Logan Paul as champion, going against Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. And the only thing to take note of this match is that Randy Orton kicks the absolute shit out of ISO Speed before RKOing him through a table.
Oh, okay, out of nowhere. Dun, 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 dun.
Actually, the second thing I'll say about that is I hate that Logan Paul won the match. He should not have won the match.
Oh.
But he is the perfect representation of the United States right now.
He's split in half.
That was good. Yeah, much like the table that is the United States.
Second last match was Bayley versus Io Sky. Io Sky was also from that Damage Control faction. And yes, so from saying earlier, hey, Damage Control lost everything, she lost her championship to Bayley this in this match. I'm sad for Io Sky losing it because I really like her, but Bayley absolutely deserves her time in the spotlight. So I'm not sad.
So you could say you could say that she needs some damage control of her own now?
Sure, why not? I don't know how to bounce off that.
You can feel free to ignore him.
Who are you, my parents?
But yeah, this was a really strong match. Bailey deserves the win, and then we go into the final big match: Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. This has been the big storyline for the past 2 years of wrestling. Cody Rhodes really needs this win, because it's important to his family legacy that he gets this title. And this was a fantastic match. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, just on their own, were doing really strong as a 1v1 scenario. But then, because it was booked as a no disqualification match, all of Roman Reigns' family started coming out and interrupting with the match. And as each one was coming out, someone else would come out to help Cody Rhodes. So it was basically the Avengers Endgame moment of wrestling. Yeah, really fun. So Jimmy Uso jumped in, and then Jey Uso came in to stop him. Then Solo Sikoa came out, and John Cena came out to stop him. And so in return, The Rock comes to stop John Cena, takes him out, and it was supposed to be Stone Cold Steve Austin in this moment, but he wasn't free, so they ended up having The Undertaker come in to just steal The Rock's soul and take him out of the arena.
What do you mean Stone Cold Steve Austin isn't free?
What do you mean steal his soul?
It's the way that the camera work is framed. So what happened is that The Undertaker's whole gimmick is that the lights go out and then he appears in the ring, and then the lights go out again and he's gone. So he shows up, choke slams The Rock, and then the lights go out and both of them are gone from the ring. So the only way that I can describe it is he stole The Rock's soul.
It'd be even funnier if lights go out, lights go on, Undertaker appears behind The Rock with a sheet of paper.
I think they've done that one before.
God, I hope so.
Did anybody smell what The Rock was cooking?
Yeah, John Cena did.
What do you think?
Good for him.
He didn't seem to like it. He was knocked out for a few minutes.
Ooh, rough.
Cody Rhodes ended up winning. It was a big emotional moment for everyone. Everyone absolutely popped off for it. And that was WrestleMania, done and dusted. Overall, very, very fantastic show. There was a few sleeper matches, but when it's 3 sleeper matches in a 14-match card, I think that's fine.
Play-ons are cool,
Let's give it the sleep out of 10. Steve, as someone who loves to sleep, how many sleeps would you give it?
You know what? I'm going to say this is probably the best sleep I've ever had. Let's be real. The entire conversation with Saif knocked me straight out.
Insomnia.
The second he said wrestling, I was gone.
So it gets the full honk shoe, me.
I don't even think it's that. I'm in that deep of a sleep. People think I'm dead. But then people go up closer and whoa, man, this guy's sleeping good. So I think I give it a sleep. I give it a sleep out of 10.
Wow. Riveting. Absolute riveting praise. That's cool. Why don't we turn our attention now from sleeping behind the wheel metaphorically to sleeping behind the wheel physically with some Forza Horizon 5 chat. Steve.
Yeah, I think you car outside Steven's window.
Yeah.
Hang on, there's a McLaren going past. I gotta hold the mic outside to really appreciate it.
It's the best and worst thing. Yeah, one sec. The best and worst thing that they did in Rocket League was adding the motor mouth engine sound. It's just a voice recording of someone pretending to be a car, and then that's the engine noise of the car.
Holy shit!
It is so frustrating to hear an entire team of that. It just sounds like mosquitoes in a game, but very funny. As someone who equipped it immediately and has never changed off of it, excellent meme.
You know what? That's probably one of the funniest things. Maybe I will play Rocket League because of that. That actually sounds pretty funny. But anyway, so Forza Horizon 5 is the 5th installment in the Forza Horizon series, which is a arcadey kind of spin-off of the Forza Motorsport series, of which there are many.
It's the kart racer of Horizon Zero Dawn, right?
Yes, sure, why not? I don't have a woody enough response. But the
you
short
can just
story,
ignore him.
I could. I can't, but
who are you, my parents?
I physically. Whoa, 2 in a row, Nicole. Let's see if we can get for 3.
Yeah.
So this game came
Good
out.
callback.
Very big callback. So this game came out in 2021, and I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Pat, because I believe you're a big fan of the Forza series. This game was kind of and I use this in quotation marks, a next-gen release of the Xbox Series X and S range. And I got to admit, this game's like, my relationship with racing games is like, and I know this is probably not the best thing to say, and please don't jump down my throats, or you rev heads out there, but pretty much every racing game is the same. There is just a slight difference between games that are simulation, like your Gran Turismos and your Forza Motorsport series, and then you've got like sort of the arcadey kind of races, like your Forza Horizon series and your Midnight Clubs and your Burnouts and all that.
And your Burnouts.
Yep.
Yeah. He said the line.
I was always going to say the line. I love the Burnout series. I need to go back and play the Burnout series. And that's why I'm not that much of a fan.
They need to bring Burnout back.
Get Mr. Burnout on the line. I'm sure. I don't know what else to say about that. And like,
wait, I need to look up possibly the funniest thing I've ever done. You keep speaking, Steve. I'll chime in if I'm right.
Okay. So
yes, that's a threat.
So this game so the Forza Horizon series is kind of like an open world type of. They describe it as sort of like an arcade racer where it's like it's open world. You drive to events and you race them. And this is set in Mexico. So you've got like a lot of different type of regions that you're driving between, like whether it's like beaches or deserts with a lot of sand, or if it's like the tropics with a lot of like rocks and trees and rivers and all that kind of stuff. And the first thing, like, this game is probably one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. It is fantastic. And it's just like the weather effects are fantastic when like it's raining or it's cloudy, or if there's like a lightning storm, or whether there's a sandstorm, because there are sandstorms in this game. It's so fucking pretty. And there's no performance there's no performance problems at all. It feels like it's always running at like a stable 60, no matter how many cars are on the screen, no matter what's going on in the background, no matter how fast I'm going. There was no kind of, even in the open world when I'm like driving 370 kilometers an hour in like a Koenigsegg, or however you pronounce that dumb word, there's no change. And it's fantastic. And it's really nice to sort of see that kind of thing. There is like because this is kind of an open world and you're driving between events, it deals with fast travel in a not nice way. So as you drive sort of around the open world, you'll find these kind of like hub event type of things. And the general theme between the Forza Horizon series is like, oh, look, there's a big Wrasslin motorsport event going on within the world. And it's like pretty much a car show that turns this whole area into a big car show for like as long as the game runs. And there's I think there's 6 different sort of locations for these Horizon festivals to take place. And those are sort of your fast travel points. The open world is very big. So let's say you've got an event you want to go to that's like, realistically, things aren't that far away because you're driving in a car very fast. But let's say it would take about like 3 minutes to drive there. So you want to be like, all right, cool. Let's see if I can find a fast travel point that's closer. 99% of the time, there isn't. Or if you do find a fast travel point, it's not like, you're not going to go right next to it. Like, you can't fast travel right to events, which I think is kind of a bit of a waste of time. Like, I get the point that it's like encouraging you to drive down all the roads, and there's like weird side content. Like, you can break all these billboards, or you can find abandoned cars in warehouses, which is nice. It's good to see that they are making the open world genre accessible to cars. It's a very interesting premise, considering like you can't get out of your car and walk and jump around. Like, you're literally driving around every environment, and it's very frustrating when you see like a collectible that's like, you obviously have to time a jump perfectly for, and you can't really time the jump perfectly. That's very frustrating. But it kind of forces you to drive between events, and especially in the late game, when you're just trying to tick the last couple of things off, it's like I've done, not everything, but I've done as much as I want to do. Like, I'm sort of done exploring the world. I've had my fun. I just want to get these events done and dusted. And the events are varied as well, and this is kind of where the problem is. So that you've got your standard racing events, that it's whether it's cross country, it's road racing, it's street racing, it's drift racing, etc., etc. But then you've got things, which is kind of, I don't want to call it a story mode because that's not, it's a very generous read for it. But there are these kind of situations where there'll be like 6 or 7 type of quest lines, for lack of a better term, where you'll be following like an NPC on their journey doing something. So, for example, there's one of the lead characters whose names I cannot remember. She's restoring her grandfather's Vocho, which is like a Mexican car from like the 60s. And she's like tuning it up. She's putting like turbochargers on it. And like while you're kind of doing the event, she's telling you all these stories about her grandfather and their racing and the family's history about racing. And that's really cool. Then you'll finish that event. It'll rank you out of 3 stars. And 99% of the time you can get 3 stars by just driving straight and cutting corners and stuff, which is fine. It is what it is. But then you'll finish that event and it'll be like, all right, cool. That event's finished. The next event is on the other side of the map, which is like a 5 or a 6 minute drive. And you can't fast travel there to continue the story. You've just got to have to drive straight there. And it's kind of like a little minor annoyance, but it's kind of like when you're doing a bunch of those, like what I was, and not that I was getting, like I was invested in the story. None of these are going to win Oscars or BAFTAs or anything by any stretch of the word, but it was cool. Like I did like, they're very bite-sized pieces. There'll be like a 25-second, 30-second cutscene right before the event. During the event, they'll talk shit for a bit. And it's really good. I really like those kind of things, but it does break the momentum where it's like, oh shit, now I've got to drive to the other side of the map to sort of continue this story. And it was a bit, I know it seems like a nothing burger type of like complaint, but it definitely does feel like, why have a fast travel if it's not going to be used in an effective way? And I kind of get the point that you don't want people fast traveling everywhere, but then you just double or triple the amount of like fast travel location. But now that I'm speaking about that, that's really my only complaint about the game. Like, it does the racing really good. It all feels fantastically. The car engines and all that kind of stuff. Not that I'm a rev head in any sense of the word, but like it all sounds really nice. There's a lot of like tuning aspects, so you can like tune your car. You can put different wheels. You can do different things with the engine that improves its rating or decreases its rating, depending on the event you want to do. And there's also different liveries you can put on your car. So you can create your own liveries. You can look at the community's livery, and of course, the amount of anime girl liveries are fucking insane. And
Based.
Is it really? But and it's very nice that it's got all those touches and stuff, and it does feel like if you do love racing games, if there is a particular car that's your dream car for whatever reason, whether it's like a Super or a GTR or whatever, all that kind of stuff, you could actually build your dream car and then drive it around in the first person mode, and it would feel like you're driving that car. But in terms of like a racing game, I think it's like very fantastic. Like there are racing games that are done good like this, and then there's, everyone will recall that Wreckfest game that I reviewed 2 years ago that wasn't very good because it didn't feel right. There was rubber banding, and the AI was terrible, the maps were terrible, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But this is a fantastic game. Like, even for people that aren't really into cars, I still think it's fantastic. All the different events, there's various different events you can do. There's a bajillion cars in there. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. Like, it's one of those things, like I play racing games like once a year or once every 2 years, but I'll get this idea in my head of like, oh, okay, this is what I want. Like, I want to drive a car really fast. I want to do some really tight turns. I want to overtake some things. And this checks all those boxes. I know it's kind of a binary. Is it a racing game or is it not a good racing game? And this definitely is a good racing game.
So, you know what's going to absolutely light your pants on fire, Steve?
Uh-oh. Am I a liar?
No, you're not a liar. And I actually agree with you on most of your points. What's fascinating is hearing you go through that, because what I did, and this is just a difference in how I play open world games like this, is that I don't think you mentioned that you get to choose the order that you unlock the hubs in.
Yes, that is true. That is correct, yeah.
And what is interesting is that I basically prioritized the hubs. I didn't do any completion thing that wasn't in service of unlocking the next hub. for that reason, for fast traveling. But you can actually fast travel to any road in the game.
Really?
Yes.
Ah.
But it's an unlockable. It's just not super obvious, which is why it's fascinating hearing you talk about it. Because if you played the game differently, I think you'd have a different opinion of it. And I actually think that's a negative for Forza because it doesn't tell you that sort of stuff up front. Because when I prioritize going after all the hubs first, when you unlock a hub, you also unlock a house that you can buy, and a house becomes your home base. And
yes, that is correct. Yeah.
It's basically just when you load into the game, where do you want to start from? Because that way you don't have to fast travel to a different hub. But most houses come with particular perks. Like, for example, some houses come with a particular car, for example. Or there are other perks. I really can't remember because it's been so long since I played them. But the point is, they make you want to purchase the houses, but the houses are very expensive. But because I think they did this in Horizon 4 as well. Don't remember about Horizon 3. But one of the houses, when you purchase it, gives you the ability to fast travel to any road. But it's not free. So you can fast travel to any hub. I think you can definitely fast travel to the closest hub for free. You can always do that. And I abuse the shit out of that because I'm cheap. But when you fast travel, it costs you either 10,000 credits or 50,000 credits to fast travel to a road rather than to a hub, kind of like a taxi service sort of thing. But you can decrease that by each of the fast travel boards that you find in the world. So those boards that you were saying at the end of ramps and other places. Yeah, if you smash through all of them, fast traveling anywhere in the world is free, which is a cool mechanic. It's just a shame that I, having played Horizon 3, Horizon 4, Horizon 5, knew that would be in there somewhere, and so I prioritized unlocking everything first, and then kind of actually played the racing game that it is. In the same way that in Pokemon Scarlet Violet, I did the quest line to give me all of the movement upgrades for the Pokemon first. That way I could go anywhere, and then I actually did the more kind of story-driven content. So it's entirely just a difference in how you approach the game. But it's really interesting saying that your biggest flaw with it is that you can't fast travel as much as you want to, which is funny because you can. It's just the game will not tell you anything about how to do that until you randomly stumble into it.
Ah, okay, interesting. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, no, I'm not sure if that would have changed my opinion. Like, especially if it does cost like $1 million. Not really $1 million, but like.
It's not cheap, like it's not free, but it makes you think: do you actually want to spend the money to fast travel or not? And once you get, like every fast travel board that you smash, it gets cheaper. So I think it starts at 10 because I think there's 100 boards. I'm pulling numbers out of my ass, but I think that's about what it is. And so each one makes it cheaper by 100, 100, yeah, something like that. Could be wrong. I don't remember. As I say, it's been a couple of years, but I'm down to the last, I don't know, 10 boards or something. So it only cost me like 1k, 2k to fast travel, and that's nothing. You earn that just by completing the race, regardless of any prize money. So that side of it starts making more sense. I think there's actually a stat that tracks how much money you've spent on fast traveling, and I don't like that number going up. my inner gotta save refuses to let that number go up.
Yeah, it's just kind of a weird thing to think about. Like, it's an open world. The cars go very fast. And realistically, I'd probably to get from one side of the map to the other, it'd probably be, depending on the type of car you're driving, of course. But if you're in like one of the better end cars, it probably would only take like 5 to 10 minutes, especially if you're just like YOLOing it and just like taking shortcuts and stuff. There are problems with taking shortcuts, of course. Like getting stuck on a rock or a big tree or something.
I think there's an interesting decision process in there where, like, because have you used the favorite car system in terms of your you have cars in your like garage, and then you can choose cars to kind of add to favorites?
Yes, yeah. I didn't do that probably as much as I could have, because I didn't go around. Like, I sort of had like one car that I wanted for like each of the different events, like for the drifting ones or the street races type of thing. Yeah, like there wasn't a bunch of different.
Yeah, so I did that, but I also added cars that I just really enjoyed driving. And what made the fast travel cost thing interesting is that there are cars that I really enjoy driving, the look, the sound, the feel, because it is like, it's arcadey, but it's still kind of driving simmy-ish. But there's a weird calculus of I need to get to the other side of the map. Do I take the slower A-class car that I want to drive because I think it's cool, or do I pick my X-class super spec rocket ship with 4 wheels and get there quickly? And that trade-off starts getting weird because I don't like wasting time. So it's like, okay, I need to get to the other side of the map. Do I fast travel? No, because that'll cost me money. Okay, let's get in the rocket ship and drive. But then if I know that I'm kind of just fucking around in the open world, I'll intentionally pick a car that I enjoy driving rather than needing to get somewhere quick. But it's weird that I at least start to think in those sorts of levels, because what I hate, I keep bringing this up, but I haven't brought it up for a while though. My problem with Saints Row 4, where Saints Row 3 was great because similar sort of thing. You had cars, they were yours, customization, all that sort of stuff. But then Saints Row 4, you became so overpowered that it was slower to drive than it was to just super run everywhere. And so I just didn't drive because driving had no benefit. It was just so much slower. You could basically fucking fly from place to place in Saints Row 4. And so a similar thing can set in once you start getting into your like crazy powerful cars in Horizon 5. I don't know. I just sort of think it's interesting of like, there are some, because they have like D-class, like, you know, T, like Ford Model Ts and other kind of old-timey cars.
You're not getting anywhere with that. Yeah,
if you
drove one of those, it would take you back 20 minutes to get across the map. But I'm thinking of like S1s or your S2s, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no,
it's interesting that you kind of say it like that. And I think it's kind of one of those, if you're playing a game like this, you're playing it to drive, and to be like, well, I want to skip this driving section.
Yeah, I don't want driving in my driving game. Let me do the other driving.
Yeah, and especially when you're doing like those events that I was talking about, like they give you a car, and I think I liked the variety of, oh, hey, I'm driving this car in this event, or a different car in this event, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I think, it's overall a great game. I really enjoy it. It does what it says on the tin. It's a racing game. You're getting a car.
What's your favorite car that you've driven so far?
I think there was like is it a McLaren Spider or something?
I liked the red one. 720S Spider,
red cars go
probably.
Faster. Most likely, yeah. And I picked it because it's got a cool name. Like there are a couple of things like names, and I'll see like, oh, like I know like a McLaren, like the brand of car, but I just don't know the individual cars itself. I was trying to like look at the dates the car was coming out as well, just to be like, oh, okay, this is like a newer car. But then especially when you get to those like the hypercars, it's like they're aerodynamic and they look pretty much the same as what they looked like 10 years ago. So it's the last Horizon I played, Horizon 4,
I know
like 4 years ago.
Yeah. And there's like the look, right? Because even what's really funny is even we were talking about Burnout before, but like Burnout takes inspiration from real world cars, because why wouldn't you? But something like the supercar class in Burnout 3 doesn't look that different to, I guess, more the kind of hyperclass sort of end thing today. But there's like a look, and you would be a 10-year-old kid with it on a poster on in your bedroom, and it's the same kind of style. And now it just has some crazy name like Noble something, or there's like 5 that begin with W that I had no idea before playing Horizon 5, because it's all like bespoke one-off cars that cracked people with too much time and money like build and make and play with.
I did, and kind of tangentially related, like the 2 DLCs to this, which is one of them was like rally off-road focused, and the other one was like a Hot Wheels focus.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember you saying the Hot Wheels DLC was fucking fantastic, and I nearly caved and bought it. Then I kind of got to that, like, I'm kind of done. Like to use a Sims reference, the bar that was on red for racing game, it filled up and it got to the top, and I'm like, okay,
yeah, no,
I'm done.
I know exactly how that feels. That's why. So you have the opposite problem to me in this specific situation, because I played Horizon 5 when it came out immediately, loved it, all that stuff. Bar was filled up, I was good, I did everything, I was done. Bar settled down again, and then they were like, hey guys, Hot Wheel DLC, and so bar was already low enough. I'm like, I'm back in, boys. Whereas you, having played it, you are now at the spot where you could get the DLC if you wanted, but you don't have the same bar recovery that I did. So if you enjoyed Horizon 5, there'll be a little thing ticking over in the back of your mind that in a few months will be like, get the DLC, get the DLC, get the DLC. And to be fair, I haven't finished the Rally DLC, but from what I've played, I don't think it's one that you would enjoy unless you enjoy off-roading or rally racing, that sort of thing. But the Hot Wheels is just dumb fun because it's a giant Hot Wheels track.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, no, I think you covered all the points. I mean, I've spoken about this at length, however many episodes ago. Still can't believe we're on episode 110. Listen to all previous 109 and tell me which one I talked about Horizon 5 in.
It was that one.
probably about 12.
Yeah, it was that one. Because I know that one of our really early episodes, we had the Horizon Power Hour, but I think that was Horizon 4, or was that Horizon 5? Man, I've lost track.
Yeah.
I don't remember anymore. And I still shout out to some of the soundtracks from Horizon in general. I still listen to the soundtrack every now and then. Some good tunes
soundtrack.
in there.
Good soundtrack.
Yeah. Anyway, we shall park the car for now, if you will indulge. Thank you, Steve.
I will indulge.
What if it's an electric car?
That's actually really funny because there is an electric car that I was using, and literally you can't hear it. Like it accelerates really fast. There's like it goes. There's no funny sound.
There are several electric cars in Horizon.
No, they're probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Man, I kicked the segue back to Horizon. That was awkward. Saif, Dragon's Dogma, D's nuts. Got him.
Yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 came out. It's good. I really like it. It's got a lot of problems. It's got a lot of the same problems that Dragon's Dogma 1 had.
Love that.
It's got some problems that didn't exist in Dragon's Dogma 1. So I understand the vision that Itsuno and his team had for Dragon's Dogma. They really wanted you to just kind of walk everywhere and explore the world and just take in the game and let the emergent events happen as they happen to you. I think they should have compromised a little, because something that like I was playing this game pretty consistently for a while, and then what made me just kind of take a small break was getting to the second main city of the game and going, oh, there's no fast travel point here.
Wow, this is just the fast. Welcome back to the fast travel lounge.
Yeah.
That might be the best segue I've ever done.
There's a few like fast travel items you can get to like you just place them down anywhere you want in the world, and that way you can just fast travel to those specific points whenever you want to do them. Like let's say it's an important place you're going to be going back and forth to a lot. You can just leave one at that specific location. But there's two, as far as I know, there's two permanent ones in the game, and they're right next to each other. This map is huge, and they put two permanent fast travel points at the main city in the northern area of the map, and then one in a fishing village right next to it. That's absolutely insane to me. It makes me think that fishing village is going to be important at the end of the game, but not having one in the second city that's all the way in like the middle south, like southwest of the game's map. They really should have had one there. So if you're not using the place down your own fast travel points, the way that you have to like quickly go from one city to the other is to rent an ox cart from one city that takes you to a rest at checkpoints in between them, and then take another ox cart from that checkpoint to the second city. And in both of those, you got to hope that while you're taking the ox cart, nothing comes in and stops your journey, like a griffin attacks and breaks the ox cart, which means, oh, well, the ox cart's gone. You've got to walk the rest of the way now. And you're out like 200 coins, which 200 coins isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things.
200 coins buying you an ox cart? Man, inflation hits different in Dragon's Dogma. 200
coins isn't a lot in Dragon's Dogma, but it is one of those things where it's like, it's 200 each trip, and you're not guaranteed to make it to your destination. There should have just been a fast travel point at each of these towns, because it is a long trek between them. And also, a thing that I kind of don't like about the ox carts is that they're slower than you just walking or running. If you're like, they put, when you first take an ox cart ride, they put up a tutorial message. It's like, oh well, you can take the ox cart and you can soak in the scenery. We'll have like dedicated camera angles to like really show off the landscape, or you can just press a triangle button to doze off and it'll skip you ahead to your destination. Or if something attacks you, then you'll wake up when that happens. I
Cool.
always doze off because the ox carts rides are a long journey, and because it's slower than you
watching
walking
Wrestlemania,
or
you're in the
running.
background, you're in the mox cart, man. Sleepy time coming fast.
Yeah, you take a couple no-dos.
If I wanted to travel, like if I wanted to walk from destination to destination, I'd do that instead of taking the ox cart, because it's like half. It feels like it's your walking speed, and that
Oh, that's rough.
yeah, that's really rough.
What's the fuck's the
So
point
those
then?
dedicated camera angles and stuff just really feels like it doesn't really serve a purpose, unless you're like one of those, like you're like really ingrained to this game. You're doing like a no fast travel run, and you're just like, I really enjoy this. I really enjoy just soaking in the scenery. But to me, like just casually playing the game, it's like, no, I'm just going to hit the doze off button. If something attacks me, something attacks me. But even then, it's going to skip me like halfway to 3/4 of the way to my destination.
You'll get him next time.
But aside from those, like just the joy of going around the map and exploring things, and the combat is all really fun and enjoyable. It feels like a step up from the first game in just how the game feels. I'm annoyed that there's no dedicated lock-on button, because I feel like with things like enemies like the harpies always flying around everywhere, it's hard to keep track of them. And it feels like there's not a lot of enemy variety as well. It feels like most of the things that I fight is some flavor of goblin or bandit or saurian or harpy, and then that's like 90% of what you're fighting in the game. They do have like big enemies. They do have the big enemies like the griffins and the cyclops and the trolls and minotaurs and stuff, but they feel rare, and everything else is just like some flavor of goblin or bandit that's going to be attacking you.
Oh yeah, what flavor are the goblins?
You've got vanilla, you've got grassland, you've got poison.
Do you have schnozberry?
We do have schnozberry.
Ooh, can I get a swell?
Yeah, choc mint. The true goblin flavor.
They're goblins. What do you think they're made of?
You'll be gobbling them up.
Hey,
We've done it. We've done it. Pack her up, fellas. We peaked.
But yeah, it doesn't. It's fine so far. Like I really enjoy just doing everything in the game, but
just eating goblins.
But it's not like doing anything super well, which is where like that joke of it's the best 7 out of 10 that's ever existed, because it's like it's never going to break the barrier of being into an 8 out of 10, but it does everything so well that you can't rank it lower than a 7.
Right, yeah. So as someone who has way too little context for what I should for these games, does Baldur's Gate absolutely smashing it out of the park last year change how this is received, or are they so different in what they're doing that it's kind of irrelevant?
They're pretty different in what they're doing that is irrelevant, but it does feel like
cool.
Dragon's Dogma should be aiming to do more.
Right.
Like there's not much story going on. There's not much direction or in that story that's going on, or cutscene direction going on. Like it's just very small clips of like, oh, there's a person looking menacingly when it does cut to like a cutscene. Apparently, once you get to the first main city, there's one guy that gives you like 50% of the story's quests, and I've already cleared through all of those. I cleared through like I think I cleared through like 75% of his story quests in like my first visit to the city. So if you're just rushing through the story, it's going to be a relatively short game, and I've just kind of elongated it by doing all the side stuff I can find. It's one of those things where it's kind of like you just kind of make your own journey as you're going along. Something that was really fun though is that I accidentally stumbled upon the Sphinx in the game, and everyone's been making a big deal about the Sphinx. There's like, before the game came out, people were writing up articles like, oh, if you ever fail one of the Sphinx's riddles or you try to fight it and you lose, then that's it, the Sphinx is gone forever, you can never retry it. The game auto-saves afterwards, so you can't try to save scum it unless you like load up a manual save, and who knows how long you manually saved before you tried it. But no, I found a Sphinx. I did its riddles, like its first set of riddles, and then it's after finishing all of those, it's like, hey, come find me somewhere else, and then it flew off. I haven't found it the second time, but its first set was really fun. It's it's a lot of trying to toy with the idea of like how you're thinking about your items and the NPCs in the game, and they're very brave in making you have to do something that's extremely difficult to try and remember. Like, I found a Sphinx around maybe 35 hours into the game, and one of its riddles was like, hey, do you remember doing something in the first 2 hours of the game? So, like a specific location, you did something, go there. I'll give you 7 in-game days to do it, otherwise you fail the quest. And it's difficult, but then I also had the moment of getting to the early game location, and then I had a Jimmy Neutron brain blast of like,
and a stroke.
Right, yeah, and a stroke. And it's like, right, that's the thing. That's where I was at that specific moment that I needed to go. So I went to that specific location, found the item I needed to get, and then gave it to the Sphinx. And it was 1 in-game day that I did it. I didn't need the full week.
Oh, I thought you meant you had 1 day left.
No, I did it on the first day that passed.
Yeah, gotcha.
Could you simply have looked up the answer?
There was one riddle though that I had to look up. It was something that I was never going to get on my own, and I double checked with another friend that's like super into Dragon's Dogma, and he's like, oh yeah, I also had to look up the riddle for that one.
Was the riddle what's black and white and red all over?
No, so the riddle was something along the lines of the parent leads the child, and I am but the child. Can you find my parent? And
was it like a waterfall sign?
The game's really, really hoping that you take notice or you check in at a specific location to find something named Sphinx Parent or Sphinx Mother or Sphinx Father.
If you name your character Dan Schneider, do you get to not find the parents to complete the quest?
Unfortunately not. You cannot avoid the parents' allegations. So yeah, I didn't check in those locations because it's a very, very specific thing that you have to check in on. And it's basically like, if you never checked in there, then you're never going to get that riddle answer.
Filtered. Skill issue.
Didn't explore enough.
Yeah, what do you mean you don't have a perfect memory?
How can I remember something if I never saw it?
Yeah? Fuck you. That's how.
Wow, you're right, Steve. You did win that philosophical argument in a battle of wits.
Got him.
But yeah, Dragon's Dogma has just been fine so far. I'm not going to rush to complete it, but I think I'm like close to the end of the game as it is. So probably by the time we check in next time, I'll have finished it and have more thoughts. One of my friends did finish it, and he's very bummed out. He's like, yeah, no, this game's worse than the original game. He didn't like it as much.
Ooh, huge take.
There is one more thing I want to mention as well. So you have these AI companions called pawns. They added something into the game called Dragon's Plague, where the pawns can, as far as I know, there's 3 ways you can get it. Either you acquire a pawn that has it from the Rift, which is like downloading someone else's character. When you do that, the second way is like your pawn contracts the sickness from either interacting with the one that you've brought in, or they bring it out from someone else's world. Like they got sick in someone else's world and then they brought it back to your game. Or a dragon can pick up your pawn and then like poison them with the dragon's plague, basically. And as far as I know, if you don't kill your pawn, then that pawn is basically going to ruin your game experience. Like they'll go on a rampage and just kill towns on their own.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I've seen videos of this online. It's fucking insane. It's just such a weird mechanic, and you got to make sure you're paying attention to your pawns. Because I have played the first one, and realistically, I'm very close to replaying it. Because it's time, and it is a very good game. But then I'm like, do I just get the second one? Probably not. But it's sort of very interesting to have those pawns that you're like downloading from other sort of players' games, and to not be paying attention, and then it destroys an entire town. Very, very, very funny though.
Yeah, and there's no visual tell as well. You just kind of have to pay attention to their behavior, which is what makes it even rougher to try and figure it out. So my friends that's finished the game, I went to go get his pawn, and it finally gave me the tutorial message going, hey, this is Dragon's Plague and what it does. So I instantly kicked it off my team. And I was like, hey, buddy, your pawn has Dragon's Plague. And he's took a moment. It's like, oh, fucking hell, I hate Itsuno so much. Yeah, interesting game. I think it's a little better than the original Dragon's Dogma, but not by much, not by enough to make it like a whole new thing. This is basically Dragon's Dogma done again, but with a couple of quality of life features and a couple of steps back in quality of life. They really should have compromised on their vision a little bit in like trying to make things a little smoother. Mostly that fast travel thing. I think it's insane that they don't have a fast travel crystal in the second main city of the game.
Well, you got to think about it. Times are tough. Cost of living crisis. Do you know how many coins it costs to keep?
I own 2 houses in this game already. The economy isn't that rough. The only thing is I can't afford my third house, which is like in the actual rich area. I own 2 commoner houses.
Hang on. Are you a landlord?
This might be the most detached I've ever heard Seth from reality.
I am not a landlord because I am not renting out those places. I simply sleep in whichever city I am currently residing in.
Artificially restrict the housing supply to push your property prices up higher.
Yeah, he's ruining the housing supply. You're even worse than those billionaires that buy like a bajillion houses and then just be like, nah, I'm never going to live in them.
To be fair,
I'm going to squat in your house. Fuck you.
To be fair, the people that owns those houses were like, hey, you're an adventurer, right? Here, buy this house so you don't have to spend money at the inn every time.
Is that a real estate agent saying that, Seth? Go on, man.
No, it's the former landlord.
He's probably selling an investment. It's like, oh man, I've got to retire my 20 other properties I've got.
One of them literally is a person retiring, essentially.
Yeah,
she's like, hey, can you house sit for me for a week? And so you basically get the house for free for 7 days. And then she comes back and she's like, you know, I enjoyed being out of the city so much and going to this other place that I'm just going to sell you this house.
Against your will.
I'm going to kick you in the teeth. Oh no, look at this job story, this guy. Oh, sorry, I just had to buy this house. I was doing this old lady a favor, actually.
You want to know the most fucked up thing? Buying the house costs as much as getting a haircut.
I don't know if that speaks to the quality of the house or the quality of the haircut. Like if you told me that that I was going to get a haircut and that I'd only need a 20% deposit on the median, what's the median haircut in Auckland now? Like 500k or something. 20% down on a 500k haircut. Like, I better be looking the flyest I've ever looked.
Yeah, the Dragon's Dogma haircuts are not that impressive.
Oh well. Any final thoughts on your aggressively 7 out of 10 game?
Not really at the moment. It's just more of a if you liked the original game, then yeah, definitely check it out because it's more of the same, but also a little bit better. And it's just fun. It is fun when like those emergent gameplay moments happen. Like I had a moment where I was fighting a Minotaur and then a second Minotaur showed up and it scared the living shit out of me. And those type of moments in this game are a lot of fun.
If you have a pawn and you move it to the edge of the map, can you replace it with a queen?
Ha.
Technically, yes.
Can only take thing.
You can make your pawn your beloved, which will essentially make it a king or a queen, depending on their gender.
My queen. And then you give them Dragon's Plague and just let nature take its course. Understandable. That's cool. Right. Leaving it there?
Yeah, leaving it there for now. I'll check back in when I finish the game.
Sounds
Leaving
good.
it bare. Roar!
Well, wouldn't want that conversation to drag on anymore, so I'm going to dog.
Oh,
on
drag on these nuts. Good one.
That works too. Let's have a chat about Avatar. Don't ever steal my segue again. Have
Watch me.
either one?
Don't
both
speak
of
to me
you
with my segue ever again.
seen Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix?
Yes, I did not see it on Netflix. I just want to be very clear about that, but I have seen it.
Where'd you find it?
How I saw it, it came.
On the seven seas.
I have seen neither Avatar: The Last Airbender or Avatar: The Last Airbender or Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, okay. You haven't seen either of them? Any of them?
I haven't seen any of the three.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting because
We've been over this
the
before,
one.
I think.
We probably have, and I do hate you on a level that I can't really describe over an audio medium, but
Yeah, Avatar: The Last Airbender on Nickelodeon was something that I just kind of missed, and it's something I need to go back and watch on my own. I am planning on binging it soon, and then I'll be watching the Netflix show afterwards to directly compare them.
It has pro wrestling in the show.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it. I've seen little bits and pieces of Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's just I haven't watched it from beginning to end.
So if I could put my madcap science experiment hat on for a sec, I'd actually be curious if you were to watch the live action first. Okay. For the sake of discussion, because we did say there were three, let's just get rid of the M. Night Shyamalan film. All right, that's gone. All right,
What'd you call him?
You heard me. We're gonna put that to one side and never touch it again. Between the live action on Netflix and the animated show, I'd actually be curious if you watch the live action first and then the animated show, because most people that I've spoken to have seen the live action because they've seen the animated one. I haven't found someone from just randomly, water cooler work chat type thing, who off of the strength of seeing trailers for the live action went, I want to watch that. Because it is kind of weird when it's done as a live action if you don't have the nostalgia and the context of what the animated show was. So overall, I guess you and I, Steve, can chat more about it. I don't know that because the original has been out and the live action follows the original close enough, I don't know how we handle spoilers, because there's not really any spoilers.
It's been out for a quadrillion years. There are no spoilers.
It has, but like on a more kind of storytelling level, I don't know if it's just because I've seen the show so many times, but I actually don't know what I would say is a spoiler in what came out for the first season of the live action show. Does that make sense?
Probably, yeah, but probably just the last episode, like how it ends.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, with how it ends.
With a certain event happening. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
But everything else isn't really a spoiler. Just world building.
So, coming out of the gate, to give my 2 cents, I did not like the first episode, almost at all. And it slowly won me back. And the last couple episodes I did enjoy, but even then, I don't know if this is a case of The Lion King, where I watch it and I go, that was good, but it reminds me how much better the original material was.
So I think there's two parts to this. So the first one is they have changed how you interact with how you view these episodes. So the original Nickelodeon one episode is 22 minutes, as opposed to the Netflix show where one episode the time varies between 47 minutes to about an hour. I think one of the episodes is. So it feels like there are parts where it takes a bit longer to get to the point, maybe. And I think the second point, the voice acting from Aang is dog shit. Sorry, as in the character that plays Aang, his voice, it's always got this weird inflection to it.
I know what you mean. It's just, I know what you mean, and I agree with you. It's just really funny where it's like, I don't like the 12-year-old's voice, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but I think it sounds like, and I don't know how old the actor is, so they're probably not 12, but it feels like it's someone trying to put on like a little kid's accent.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it's just because maybe that's because as the the show goes on and as Aang matures as both a character and as a person with his own destiny to fulfill, he is in the Nickelodeon series. He does start with this kind of innocence about him, and it does sort of become a bit more gruffer, and in his both the words he uses and his actions. But this it kind of starts at that kind of the high pitched 12-year-old, and then it kind of stays at the high pitched 12-year-old. But I'm not sure if that's just me being angry at fucking kids or the actor's doing a bad job.
Yeah, it's rough because I it's really hard, right? Because okay, would we both agree if there wasn't an animated show to compare this against that the live action isn't that good? Would that be a fair comment?
No. See, I don't know. I think because I'm brainwashed and I really like the series. I thought it's essentially a retelling of the story, of the first season, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. The effects were really good. Like everything was really good about the live action. I think it still holds up on itself. Like you could show this to someone who has never watched the original series, like our good friend Saif, and he would come away probably be like, yeah, that was all right. I didn't mind that.
See, I don't know if that's the case because it's really hard having this conversation with the context of I've seen the animated show like 8 fucking million times because it's been on Nickelodeon and I was a kid when I
and it's
watched
fantastic as well.
Yeah, and it's very, very good. I think the problems. So for me, there's a lot of kind of writing storytelling issues where, episode 1, for example, you sit most people down in front of episode 1. I think it's an absolute god awful mess of a narrative in terms of you're trying to tell so much kind of just expositional like dump. Like think about the simplicity of Katara's voiceover in the animated intro title of long ago, the 4 nations lived together, and like that whole monologue, right? Everyone that's seen the show just knows that monologue off by heart. But they kind of purposefully don't put that at the start of the live action. And so they're trying to tell what that voiceover does in like 30 seconds. And it takes them like 10 minutes. And it's told in this crazy, messy way where they give you nothing because it's all in this weird, I call it the kind of Netflixy hook of they try to draw you in by giving you a bunch of questions, answer fucking none of them, and then expect it to be interesting enough that you keep watching. But it almost has the opposite effect. And I'm going to talk about 3 Body Problem probably next episode because that's a show that actually does something really similar with how they did it on Netflix, which I didn't like and then understood what they were doing. And now it was like, okay, good. I'm now in tune with what this is and I really enjoy it now. But in the moment, it's like, it feels like the writers go, I wonder if they're going to guess the next twist. And then they just purposefully make it convoluted as shit to stop you from just being able to digest it easily and then zone out. But it goes so far the other way. Like
and I think
like the whole like Fire Lord taking out the spies and then them trying to run out of the village, like that whole opening sequence just didn't. It's not that it didn't land. So I agree with you in terms of like the effects and the fights and all that stuff. That stuff's all cool, but I really like the lore and the narrative and the storytelling of the original series a lot as well. And it feels like if they hadn't done so good with the visual effects of the element spinning and that sort of stuff, that it would show the cracks in the storytelling way more. And that would it would just drop on its head.
And especially that first episode as well, they change a bunch of stuff.
Like I don't think they change it. I think they just change the order that they tell it. Because I'm pretty sure all of them.
So having they do change the order. They start with like Aang in the Air Temple, but there is in the original series, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. The air nomads weren't all together in one place. They were all at their individual temples, and the Fire Nation kind of went hunting to kill them.
True.
And I think sort of the excuse was, oh look, they're all together. Whoa, this is very convenient. And that would be a bit more like realistic in real life. But then at the same time, like it's the idea of the Fire Nations thing was kind of like it was a surprise attack. No one saw it coming. And then they took out one air nation, then another one, and then another one. And then it was sort of too late. Like it's a domino effect.
Yeah.
And that's probably just like a little minor change. It didn't really matter. And because they do tell it a bit differently, you've got the, the original, like the first episode of Avatar is the boy in the iceberg. It's Katara and Sokka. Like, oh no, who's this kid in this iceberg? What the fuck? What's the deal with that? Instead of introducing us to Aang, introducing us to him being the Avatar and escaping. It's definitely a problem with that first episode.
Yeah.
That I don't think continues for the rest of them. But it definitely is kind of you are right. They set up a bunch of questions to be answered. And it's like, oh yeah, like all these questions will be answered by the end of the 4 years, like the 4 years that you'll be watching it. That you've forgotten. Like they'll be providing you an answer that you've forgotten the question to, and it's like, I don't care. I didn't ask this.
Yeah. I think it's also interesting. Like when I saw Avatar, years ago, I was a dumb kid, still am a dumb kid at heart. Can read slightly better than I could back then though. But
slightly.
When not by much. When they introduced the Fire Nation, it's like Fire Nation is big bad. And Fire Nation goes and does evil things, and they took out the air nomads. And I, as a kid, was just like, yeah, Fire Nation's big bad. And it feels weird watching them retell it again. Just going to keep dogging on the first episode. But they cut to, like, the Fire Lord being like, we will attack the air nomads. And there's kind of no... I'm not saying that I need them to give them a reason or anything, but there's so much evil shit that the Fire Nation has done in the first few episodes, kind of behind the scenes of the animated series. You're just like, yeah, Fire Nation's big bad. Whereas here it's like, so he's making the choice to start the war, but there's kind of no reason to. Like, it's sort of like, as you alluded to, it's almost like, hey, we heard that all the air nomads were going to be in the same place for some festival. Want to take them out? And the Fire Lord's like, all right. Like,
yeah.
But like the Fire Nation is big bad, but we're watching the descent.
Evil.
Yeah. It's the whole it's the reverse problem of Handsome Jack in the pre-sequel trying to seem like a regular guy, even though while he's a regular guy, his daughter is chained in the basement. And you're like, that's not can we like revisit that? Or is that like we're watching him descend into madness and you're like, he kind of had to be a bit crazy to start with. But the writers are like, don't think about that. Don't think too hard. Just go with it. Yeah, and again, don't want to rag on the act. Like, to me, if acting seems shoddy, I want to give the actor the benefit of the doubt that they made the best of what they had with the material and the creative direction and everything else they had at the time.
That's true. And they do have directors and stunt casters, and I just want to be clear. I think the acting, the casting, is fantastic for like everybody. I think they cast Azula and all of her dumb bitch friends. They cast them really good.
They did actually.
Whoever plays Zuko deserves a fucking Emmy because they somehow got broody teenager, inconsiderate dickhead to his crew, and kind of like I've got my honor to prove. Like they captured it fucking perfectly, and his conversations with Iroh as well. It's just how the guy that plays Aang delivers his fucking lines. Yeah, pretty much. But it's just how Aang delivers his lines. It's always like I don't know. Maybe it's just me kind of.
No, I agree with that because there's a lot of tonal whiplash of I'm Aang, I'm a goofy kid. Yes,
tonal whiplash. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Aang, I'm a goofy kid, and I'm Aang, I'm the savior of the world. And they try and do both in the animated series a lot better because they have shorter episodes to focus on one piece of it, where Aang will try being a savior and then just get his shit kicked in. He's like, oh, that's right. Yeah, I am still just like a dumb kid. I have a lot to learn. Whereas here, it seems like Aang's like Aang in the live action floats between I'm a goofy teenager, I'm a goofy kid, and do you know who I am? I also want to shout out whoever decided to cast Abed from Community as the like crazy professor. Excellent, top notch fucking choice.
I haven't seen Community.
You haven't? Oh god. Okay. Anyone that has seen Community would hopefully appreciate that. It was fucking excellent casting. So other bits that I want to touch on. I think how they describe. Yeah, I like bits of what they did. I don't like the deviations that they took that spent so long going through the like spirit realmy stuff. Not because the spirit realm isn't cool, but just because it almost felt like it didn't matter in how they did a lot of the spirit realm stuff. There's like 2 episodes in the middle where it's like Katara and Sokka are like trapped in the spirit world. We need to go rescue them. But
yeah,
it didn't
that
feel...
that goes for too long. That could have been 1 episode.
Yeah. It's I don't know, tonal
It's that kind of stuff,
issue,
like
pacing thing, writing issues. Like,
yeah,
it didn't feel, because they don't do that explicitly in the animated show. They do bits around that in the animated show. Like, there's like a few episodes where there's spirit realm involvement and the pissed off spirit that destroyed the village, which I'm pretty sure is the same one that they use in the live action. There's like bits, and then in the live action they like pasted all them together, and they're like, here's like all of this at once, and you're like, I don't like this.
And they drag it on a bit as well. Like, especially that one in the spirit realm. Like, they make it 2 episodes, and I can kind of get the point they were going for. There was no need for it to be 2 episodes. Like, there's like, they already had the 45 minutes to work for. It already was a double episode, essentially. There was no need to do it. And then they did miss a couple of things from the first season that I was kind of not looking forward to, but like kind of good for like development, like character development, and then kind of shelve those mini stories, for lack of a better word, to tell these bigger stories. And that's fine. Like, I do like it. It's just a choice that I don't necessarily agree with.
Which ones?
I do think the one where Zuko is like the blue spirit and wears the mask and he rescues Aang using just his swords. I think they did that fucking fantastic. I thought they were going to skip that, to be honest. But no, that was fantastic.
That was very good, yes. I would have liked to see, I'm pretty sure it's book 1, that Aang tries firebending before going to the Northern Water Temple and then burns Katara, and he's like, man, that was a fucking terrible idea. Let's not do that anymore.
Yep, he's like, I'm never trying firebending again. Yep. Yeah, that would have been a good one.
That would have been good.
And it's that kind of stuff as well. Like, it kind of, like, that seriousness is captured in the show really well when it needs to be. We're here, it's kind of like a happy moment. Oh no, something bad happened. We've got to do bad things and be serious now. And then it's like, oh, it's all right. It isn't like scattered throughout the show. And maybe that's kind of they're making it digestible for audiences that may not have seen it. But realistically, they could have just made the animated show into live action show and with no changes whatsoever. And I still think it'd be fantastic.
And
then they have taken a creative.
I think that's the bit that confuses me the most, is that you had source material that is universally, get rid of the valley. No one likes the valley, but every other part of it.
100% the Great Divide. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's right. That's what the Great Divide.
To the Shadow Realm with Yi.
They even call that out when they do the Players of Ember Island. They're like, oh look, it's the valley. Let's just skip this one. Everyone in the fandom's
I thought that was going to
nice.
be that episode, and it's like, nah, let's keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm pretty sure this was because there was that project that the original creators were attached to. That after a bit they were like, actually, this is not going the direction we thought. We're going to go back to Nickelodeon and start Avatar Studios, and now they're in the middle of producing, I think, another animated series. I don't quite remember where that got to. There was that flurry of news about it like 6 months ago, a year ago, and it sort of quietened down a bit. I think it was this project that they were attached to that split off. Don't quite remember, but I can see why, when you're the original creator that has source material that was so universally loved, that them making a bunch of these storytelling changes, you're kind of like, do we need to? And they were like, we're going to be edgy and show the genocide of the air nomads. You're like, do you need to?
Yeah.
A little indulgent. And I think when it goes, when they're back at the Northern Water Temple and the final 2 episodes, that gets really good again. But my fear is that I only think it gets really good again because it starts following the source material, and I really liked those episodes in the source material.
I like that. I didn't like how, because isn't it supposed to be Aang in the spirit world and then Zuko kind of kidnaps him and he's like sort of halfway to his ship and then Katara's like follows him and he's like, all right, let's go. And like there's snow and ice everywhere. And she's like, yeah, this is like not much of a fight, and just like wipes him out in one hit. I think I would have liked that.
Yeah.
But I did like how they gave Katara her time to sort of do her water bending. And I didn't think they would go down that route of like women can't be benders. I thought they would like kind of brush over that because I didn't think they had the time, to be honest. But they did it really well. And they did it like really well. And then towards the end of it, it's like, yeah, like they gave it like, oh, you got to direct the water benders type of moment, which is a bit weird because she just wanted to be a water bender. She didn't want to be like a leader like Sokka or anything. So
yeah,
I thought it was a bit too
actually,
much, but.
Thank you for bringing that up, because there was one bit of that really annoyed me, in that in the animated series, we see her like try and make the water sphere and other bits and pieces, and she's trying really hard to be a waterbender, and then everyone's like, "No, don't do that. You're gonna get fucking burnt being a witch, all that sort of stuff." Fine. But then in this one, she's like, "Oh yeah, I saw this scroll, and the scroll had like 3 pictures of someone bending water, and now I bend water good." And then I went and kicked Zuko's ass, and it's like, whoa, hang on. whoa.
and she's supposed to get like shitty at Aang because Aang picks it up. Well, he does like a little bit when she's first learning, and he picks it up really fast because he's the fucking Avatar.
Yeah, because
and they kind of skip that part. I'm like,
Aang learns like the real basic stuff from Katara and picks it up really quickly, and Katara's like, well, fuck you, go fucking teach yourself, go sign up to Udemy. And they skipped over that, and instead they were like, actually, Katara might just be God's gift to waterbending. You're like,
It do be like that. But no, overall, very good.
Overall, the end of it, very good. I still think I don't think it's a show that I will rewatch. And there are other shows that are better that I would rewatch. But the ending bits or particular pieces through the show, I probably would rewatch, but I think my overall takeaway is bits of it are good, but the animated show is just excellent.
The goat.
Yeah.
But instead of Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's actually Avatar: The Last Good Show on Nickelodeon.
Legend of Korra was pretty good.
That's true, actually. Yeah, no, Legend of Korra is pretty good. Yeah, but no, I'm looking forward to season 2. Can't wait.
Really, wasn't sure how to feel about Aang being body possessed by Kyoshi.
Oh yeah, that was a bit weird.
They even call it out. They were like, "Hey, did that like 6'7" chick with a gun just come down and start like massacring everybody?"
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, why don't you do that again?" It's like, "No, I've got to be near the statues." I'm like, "Get fucked."
Yeah, that's right. And the whole cinematography shifts up, and it looks like a 2000s music video, and you're like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, no bueno for that. Like, I understand they're trying to pitch the Avatar state, but like they needed to do it better.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm just thinking of every Kyoshi meme of just like, you know, the air versions, like, we should resolve this peacefully. Kyoshi version, like, where's my gun? I'll sort him out. Anyway. We'll leave the Avatar chat there. I'd give it 5, maybe even a 4. I don't know. Really on the fence.
Out of 10?
To slightly negative. Yeah, out of 10.
Oh, Jesus. I would have given like a 7.
7 out of 10, too much water. Well, see the final couple episodes, you'd be right.
Too much water bending.
Indeed. Well, with that, we come to the end of part 1 for this week. Thank you to you both, the chats, as always. Get to move on to part 2 for this week, which is, of course, the news. And starting off with some absolutely breathtaking news. Keanu Reeves, star of one of the SpongeBob SquarePants movies and just life in general, joining Sonic 3 as... Wait, guess. Steve, guess. You'll never guess. Guess.
I'm not Steven, but is it Amy Rose?
It is. How the fuck did you know that? That's insane.
Look,
You sure it wasn't Ligma Balls?
Cuck the
I
chicken.
got it. Speechless.
What?
Wait, no. I think the character was actually Cuck the Rooster.
That's not the character.
It's either it's either a comic character or a DeviantArt OC character.
Welcome to next week's FTL section. We're replacing Steamcharts with OG character or DeviantArt going on. No, he's joining a shadow.
I'm pretty sure it's Chuck the Rooster.
Yeah, what did Seth say?
No, maybe that's not it.
I said Cuck.
Cuck the Rooster. Maybe.
So anyway,
maybe I don't think Chuck's right.
Holy shit. Yeah, is joining as Shadow, so that'd be good.
Look, he was in the top 3
Norris,
fan picks. It's absolutely the best one. Well, not absolutely the best one, but one of the best decisions they could have made.
Yes. Jim Carrey has stepped away
so is this confirmed
from this
or not?
already,
I don't really know what's going on anymore. I don't want to read the advertisement, but I want Pat to tell me.
Oh, Pat. Okay, then I'll hold my tongue.
I'm passing the talking stick back to Seth via his lower intestine.
Ooh. I didn't know the talking stick was a suppository.
How do you think the talking works? It's like a hand puppet.
It's not confirmed. It's multiple sources are telling the Hollywood Reporter that Keanu Reeves signed on for it.
Am I right in thinking that Jim Carrey stepped down as Eggman?
He has not. They just recently did a trailer at CinemaCon that people have been talking about, and they put Jim Carrey in a fat suit to make him even more egg-shaped.
Love that for him.
The trailer reportedly has Jim Carrey in a fat suit talking about how he's been eating a lot of carbohydrates lately, and then it has a action sequence of Shadow riding a motorbike over city rooftops while fighting Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails.
I love the idea that all Jim Carrey wants to do is just like retire and go live out in like peace and obscurity. But there's some obscure contract that he has with Paramount that forces him to be an egg for multiple Sonic movies.
He is a very good Eggman, I'll give him that.
He is. He's been excellent as Eggman, and I wouldn't begrudge him if he wanted to leave the role, but him staying on is also really good. Yes.
Right. Anything else to say about how breathtaking Keanu Reeves is?
I love that Keanu got it. I wouldn't have been upset if the rumors of Hayden Christensen getting the role was real, and Robert Pattinson was the other fan cast. Any of those three would have been great, so I'm glad that at least one of them did get it.
Cool. Next up, some more breathtaking, but like breathtakingly sad news. Multiverses, the game that I still suspect is probably dead on arrival given what they did with its launch, not launch. People suspect that it is running in slow motion after being rebuilt in Unreal 5, which is just very funny to me.
I watched the gameplay. It is slow as fuck. It looks like you're playing underwater.
It feels a little bit slower, but it doesn't feel that. Like, look, as someone who's not
It's not a little bit slower. It's like 25% of the speed of the original game.
Well, look, it's probably one of those things. Like I don't notice it. Will I still play? And I think no. Hang on. So I think it's important to notice that on all these videos that are circulating, it says on the bottom, in development, footage not final. So maybe they'll take this into consideration. Surely there's like a little knob that they've got, and they just turn it up.
You're right, Steve. They will put this back in the oven and remove all the human teeth.
What? That's not what I said at all.
Ugly movie Sonic will never be forgotten.
Yeah, just on the back of the Sonic news, and they're like,
okay.
Maybe they'll take it into consideration. Like, yeah, I mean that worked once.
As far as I can tell, it only works the one time.
It might not speed up the gameplay, but at least none of them will have human teeth.
Yeah.
You imagine they're like, hey guys, we heard the feedback. They go away. All of the art is just now with the teeth removed, and they're like, is it better now?
So this comparison is for me and me alone, but watching this multiverses footage reminds me of playing Tekken 6 online. It's so really fucking slow and looks like it would eat every single one of my inputs.
You mean eat your input? Anyway, look, we don't know how long this is going to take to come out. This article, PCGamer.com, thanks, big shout out to the PC Gamer homies.
We do know when the game's coming out. It's coming May 28th.
Oh, did they already announce it? Oh, all right then. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Multiverses tweet saying May 28th for right now.
Oh.
It is even in their bio.
Yep. What it says. May 28th, 2024. All right, we getting together? We getting the game back? We played together, didn't we?
We did.
We did, yeah.
I had an absolute shit time of it playing from, like, on... Because were there Australian servers?
I don't remember, but I do recall the connection between Australia and New Zealand was pretty bad.
Because I think I won a match... I think I did win a match. I played, it wasn't Taz, Bugs Bunny. I played around as Bugs Bunny and somehow won a match. And that was the highlight. And then I said, this game is actually kind of fun. It's just so hard to play that I can't play online. So maybe
that's totally fair. And the game had no single player content.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I still think that the hype that they built for it died when they took everything away to go rebuild it again.
Maybe even then, the hype for it was dying while it was still alive.
Yeah. I can't wait for us to come out with the new comparison of have we recorded more FTL episodes or are there more people playing Hue, Neutron, and Multiverses? Wait, shit. No, I fucked that up, didn't
Yes, you did. I thought that was a bit for a second. We did this last episode too. It's the Nick All-Star.
Just let me play Hugh Neutron. I'm gonna send them to the Shadow World, Jimbo.
When's the Multiverses and Nick All-Star crossover?
And between them, they might have 200 people playing at the same time. Oh dear. Anyway, in more interesting news, and perhaps good news, we'll see. Skybound trying to crowdfund a AAA Invincible game, which, nervous given the track record of AAA games recently, but
And
Invincible.
crowdfunded games.
Have there been many crowdfunded game disasters? I feel like there have been more AAA failures than crowdfunding that I can think of recently, at least.
Mighty
but I also
Number
haven't been
9,
following.
Shenmue 3.
Are they recent though?
Oh, no, not recent. But they did do a lot of damage to the perception of Kickstarter games.
Yeah, the bar that was already on the floor got buried a little bit deeper.
Can we do another? Is it another Steven checks out Kickstarter? I haven't done that section in a while. You guys keep
this is
talking.
a
I'll
new
just
website
start
called
talking when I get going.
Republic.com.
I've got to republic.prompt, was it?
Com. Where are we? Yep. So Skybound has made a second. This is their second go at crowdfunding. They got 18 million. What was that for? Back in 2023. I don't remember the context of that. Anyway, Skybound itself is made up of a 30-person team combining people from places like Activision, Amazon Games, Blizzard Entertainment, and Electronic Arts. And they'd actually have the Invisible creator on board as well, which is cool. Actually, I don't even think we've talked about Invincible Season 2.
I haven't watched it fully yet. I watched the first episode when it ended, and then I just waited for the entire thing to be released.
But
absolutely.
You see,
why do they do it like that? And then they had a break halfway through. Absolutely.
Yeah, didn't you have time to like break and digest all the things that happened with your 4-episode half series?
Wait, that's the thing. When they said it was going to be taking a break, like I think they said that from the get-go was going to be taking a mid-season break. I was like, yeah, I'll just wait for it all. I also have all the comics again, so I'm going to read through that.
I think there was a slight communication problem when they announced, hey, Season 2 is here, and everyone's like, holy shit, Season 2 is here, this is great. And then when they said the break, everyone's like, okay, I guess. But I, for one, didn't know when they came back from the break. I just randomly checked, thinking, it's been a while since I've seen Invincible. I wonder if they're back from break yet, and then noticed that they had. I think that's what a few people went through. It seems like everyone just randomly decided to check Prime at some point and went, oh shit, there's new Invincible out. Anyway, we on board with the idea of an Invincible game?
I don't think there's anything good on Kickstarter, friends.
Always has been.
I'm on board. Oh, hey, Skybound Games did that WrestleQuest game.
Oh, that was... Okay, yeah.
They also did the Adam Eve visual novel thing.
So this game's going to be visual novel, is that what you're saying?
A bit of a track record going. I haven't played
They just haven't said...
Go on.
They just haven't said what this game's going to be.
Yeah, all we know is it's going to be a AAA game.
Live service, baby.
Well, why are we bothering to invest in AAA games when there are quadruple A games coming out? Come on, this is...
Yeah, actually, you know what? Steve's right.
2-person studio.
The quadruple A games track record is Skull and Bones and the Perfect Dark game that isn't out yet.
And based on price, technically Star Wars Outlaw as well, right?
Also, just for a quick clarification, Patrick said that Robert Kirkman was going to be involved with the Invincible game. Apparently, he's just straight up a founder of Skybound.
Not surprised, given that you just read out a whole bunch of things that they had done. It's cheating.
I mean, the two Invincible things could have just been, oh, hey, this company has a license for it.
True. Anyway, I can imagine an Invincible game.
I'm going to go and buy Go-Go. I'm getting nothing from Kickstarter.
Holy shit, you're still there. Steve, don't go into the light. I can imagine something like...
No, not Buy Go-Go. What's the other one? Indiegogo.
Indiegogo.
Buy Go-Go is that illegal...
You keep throwing me off. What the fuck am I trying to say?
Don't use Buy Go-Go.
Oh, shit. I can imagine an
Infamous
AAA...
Infinite... That'd be a good game, yeah. Sorry, that was a mess of a statement. But if they made an Invincible game like the Infamous games, not that I've played the Infamous games, of course, but I've heard they're quite infamous. That'd be good.
You won't stop talking, trying to find the fucking Indiegogo link. Talk over me when I'm trying to say one sentence. I fuck it up enough times that I forget what I'm trying to say. You say, oh yeah, that'd be good. And then pause and then go, well, actually, I've never played the Infamous games. I've just heard they're good. That would be good for Invincible. The most fucking arguing with a 6-year-old moment of my life.
Infamous is very different from what Invincible could do. Invincible would match more with Prototype.
I haven't played Infamous. I played Prototype. That's a good game.
I feel like Prototype, you only had the choice of being evil, though.
There wasn't really a good or evil mechanic. It was just, hey, go on a rampage.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't you absorb the life force of random civilians? I feel like that's not the good guy move.
But you're absorbing the military, so it's fine. The mercenaries that are in town. Oh, I've got a hair loss treatment in here.
Holy shit!
It's looking at Indiegogo now. This one looks like a machine. Yeah. I don't get what this is. Boutique?
I don't know how much of this I'm keeping in.
Well, if it's like your hair, you can actually keep quite a lot thanks to whatever product Steve found. No, we're going to move on.
The world's first micro-misting hair loss treatment device.
I don't care. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 has some future Saga DLC announced.
I can't believe this game is still alive.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
Xenoverse 2 refuses to die, yet Dragon Ball FighterZ died for its sins.
It
Steve was
is
about to say
very
something
weird.
insightful. Here we go. Listen up, everyone. Go on, Steve.
Oogly boogly. Yeah, I don't know what. Surely Bandai Namco must be like making a shit ton of money to keep doing these DLC content. And they're all like original stories now as well because they've just run out of canon stories, and they're not even doing the manga stories for Super, because God forbid anybody else acknowledges that existence. It's originally it's like the OC Do Not Steal characters. They don't
from Dragon Ball Heroes.
Because they're from Heroes. Yep. So they're not original characters. Well, they are original characters, but it's not like a Xenoverse original. The Heroes isn't real anyway.
Heroes is real and it can hurt you.
Shouldn't be real. But yeah, no, it's very interesting. I'm not sure how many Xenoverse 2 stands we've got out there.
Hold on, let me check the Steam charts. I think there's more console players for Xenoverse though, but I think it does well on PC.
It obviously must be doing well to keep that in DLC. This game came out in like 2015 or something. And this is part 1 of what they're releasing. Ooh boy.
The 24-hour peak is 1,500 people.
1,500? That's not too bad.
Imagine how many people Exoprimal would shoot on sight to get numbers like that.
or how many Justice Leagues would the Suicide Squad kill to get that?
It would be suicided. For those that play... I guess Merry Christmas to Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 fans who celebrate.
Side tangent.
Here we go.
This Xenoverse 2 DLC, the Future Saga, its main villain is going to be the Dragon Ball Heroes character Fu. And I have a soft spot for this character because I went to a Dragon Ball Super card game event one time. It was $10 entry fee, and just for showing up and doing okay-ish, I got a tournament card pack, which only had one card in it, and I pulled a Fu card, which was worth $30.
Yo.
Hang on.
Did you eat it while maintaining eye contact with someone?
They gave you a pack, but the pack only had one card. Why don't they fucking hand you the card?
Because it's a random card. Like, the packs are randomized, so what get inside them.
Let me explain surprise mechanics to you, okay?
So it was a loot box, but like it just...
Yeah, all CCG stuff is a loot box.
Surprise mechanic.
Anyway, what was your question, Patrick? Because Stephen rudely talked over you.
Who the fuck cares or knows anymore? We're going to move on.
I mean, I cared, but okay.
Who asked?
Not about the topic. I mean, I don't remember what I was going to say because I've been interrupted so many times already. Did you have anything more to touch on with the DLC, Yusuf?
No. I just wanted to bring up my story about the card. That was triple the value of what I spent to go into that event.
Thank you. That's what I was going to ask. Did you eat it while maintaining eye contact with someone?
Someone
knowing that it was
offered
worth
Whoa,
three
whoa,
times
whoa.
the entry fee.
someone.
Hang on.
I think
Okay.
someone offered a trade or just straight up wanted the card, and I said no because I was going to put it into my deck, and then I never went to another Dragon Ball Super event.
You know that guy's gone
Hang
to
on a
every
second,
event
so-
hoping to find you again, right?
Nah, that card was probably
someone-
out of date within a month.
So I'm on Indiegogo at the moment, right? And there is an Aero Go automatic air mattress for Tesla Model Y. Should we back this?
No, we're not backing anything that has to do with Elon products.
But it's a mattress that plugs right into your Tesla Model Y, and only the Model Y. It's not compatible with anything else, it seems like.
Why would you ask us this?
They've got like in the promotional images, they've got these people like laying down on this mattress with their shoes on. And they've got like the mountain climbing shoes with like the studs in it. So they're gonna like pop this fucking mattress.
If you invert the photo, do you get to see Elon Musk peeking in from the side of the screen?
Probably.
I bet.
Oh, if you back
actually,
it early,
you know what?
you get a pillow plus a coffee machine. Hang
You know
on,
what? We should signal
I don't
boost
think
this one.
I
We
can
should
afford
find
not to get this.
Elon Musk's 12-year-old burner Twitter account to promote it.
Psyop account.
Yeah, the
Where he's
PSYOP
role playing a
account.
3-year-old.
Holy shit, the PSYOP account is such a good term. Oh, I love that. Oh, what an absolute fucking travesty. Next up, Sega has sold Relic Entertainment, leading to yet more layoffs. That's right, we are not done with them just yet. And don't worry, it's only April. It only gets worse.
Yeah, on top of that, they sold Relic and they laid off 240 people. It seems like Sega's
240p,
been
if
doing
you
a
will.
lot of layoffs in their European division specifically, because that's where all the layoffs at Creative Assembly and Hard Lights hit.
Hmm.
The Relic Studios is known for Company of Heroes 3.
You're a big fan of Company of Heroes 3, Steve?
The only Company of Heroes I need are you two.
Aw.
But no, I don't. I remember hearing about it. It's an RTS game, I believe. I have no interaction with this. All the best.
I thought Company of Heroes 3 was older than it is. It turns out it just came out May last year.
I also
Everything
thought
in
it was
that
much
too.
older than that. What the hell?
Yeah, it must have been a long time between 2 and 3, because Company of Heroes is something I've been aware of for a long time.
Hmm.
But RTSs aren't really a genre I touch.
Right. Well, yep. Sad news for all affected, of course. Hopefully we're at the end of the wave of layoffs, but I suspect there will be more bad news before it gets better, just given the...
It feels like we're getting to the end of the wave for Embracer.
True. But yeah,
Surprisingly, we
industry
left for Embracer
outlook
to let go.
isn't particularly positive at the moment, so good luck out there, I guess. Next up, we have Gearbox being... shit, I feel like I had something clever here. Nah, probably gone. Take-Two owns Gearbox now, which means will they finally stop Randy Pitchford from wet-willying people in the voiceover booth? We may never know.
When's that movie? Was the Borderlands movie coming out? That's got to be soon.
A couple of months.
Yeah, I think
Hmm.
I remember it being June, July. Don't know where I'm getting that from, though. But yeah, soon.
That feels right. I was thinking August.
Well, Price is Right rules. I'm probably lost without going over. I don't fucking know. Anyway, yeah, so Gearbox has... I feel like
It is
we-
August. In the US, anyway.
Ah, shit. Oh, well. Anyway, so Gearbox. They have acquired it from Embracer Group for $460 million Doritos.
I'm
Not
glad
too
a lot of
bad.
companies are leaving Embracer through these sort of deals, either by buying themselves or another publisher is like, hey, we're going to try and salvage this. Instead of, letting Embracer embrace all over them.
Take-Two are the people that own Rockstar,
Yes.
aren't they? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Wonderful. Yeah. That could be very interesting.
Also, all the 2K games.
Oh, they own 2K as well.
Yep.
Yeah, which is
Far
funny
out.
because at one stage I swear 2K and Gearbox had closer ties. Maybe that was just through a similar publisher years ago.
That might be the case, yeah.
I don't know. Either way,
Yeah, I have Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You're right.
Yeah, doesn't matter. But
I
glad
think
to see
I think
that
they
have
published.
been-
I think 2K published one of the Borderlands games. I think it was the pre-sequel.
that could have been it. Who knows? Either way, it's good that Gearbox is no longer being embraced. Don't really have anything more to say on that one. Anything from either of you?
Nah, I'm all good.
How will this impact the next Borderlands game?
Hard to say. It depends on if they wanted to do a movie based on the game, based on the movie, based on the game, like they did with Ratchet and Clank.
So moving back a couple of dockets because Patrick accidentally missed one. Shift Up is hiring for a AAA urban sci-fi action RPG.
Here it comes.
Shift Up are the people that made Nikki and Stellar Blade. Stellar
goodness.
Blade
Is
coming
it
out
pronounced
soon.
Nikki? I've been pronouncing it
think-
Nike.
Yeah, I think it's Nikki. Nikki,
Nikkei.
Goddess of Victory.
Yeah. Well, this is a very to use a colloquial term, Akuma studio, and saying that out loud makes you want to have a shower.
It can't be too Kuma-ish because the Stellar Blade
Shut the fuck up.
protagonist is based on a real model.
That's true. Let's skip
All
this
the Nikki
conversation.
stuff though.
Yeah, no, yeah. Have any of you two played Nikki?
I haven't played Nikki. I played the demo for Stellar Blade.
I haven't played
It'd be
either.
interesting to see if it's kind of just like another one of those. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, you know what? I don't know. What were you going to say, Pat? I cut you off again.
I haven't played either of them.
Yeah, neither have I.
You should try the demo of Stellar Blade
the-
so we can talk about it. You complain about something and I say just get good, so you give it a second try.
And then buy the game and then not play it.
For over a year now.
Has it been? Yeah, it probably has.
No,
Ooh,
not
boy.
over yet.
Not yet? Must be getting close.
Yeah, very close.
June, July. I can't be wrong twice in a row. Yeah, it's still on the list. We'll see. We'll see when we get there.
But yeah,
next up-
I'm interested to see what they do with this, just because just based off the demo for Stellar Blades, they're doing pretty good. The thing is that their description of urban science fiction action RPG is very close to what Stellar Blade is already, so kind of weird there. But keen to see what they do next.
Maybe it's a psyop for a free-to-play / live service Stellar Blade follow-up.
I don't think it'd be a follow-up because I think Sony owns the rights to Stellar Blade.
So Sony are the Kumas. Got it.
They won't make it themselves, but they'll hire someone else to make Kuma bait.
Oh, that feels like we're floating dangerously close to Rule 34. Anyway, next up, we have some Squeenix news. A bunch of new executive officers. Now, you were quite a big... You were big in favor of this one, Seth.
I guess. I don't exactly know what executive officers do. It sounds like it's just... These people are like a round table of important people at Square Enix. The one that sticks out to me the most, though, is Naoki Hamaguchi was added to this, and he was the director of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so they like immediately put him up into the big leagues.
You see, to get executive officers, if you get a group of them and you put them all together, then they form one office. It's like a Power Ranger type thing. You assemble them all into one office.
So it's like a mega executive officer.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really have a follow-up to that. I just thought that would be a fun fact that you could all learn and impress people at the dinner table with.
If all of their power, do you think
Thanks.
all of their power combined can stop the NFTs from happening at Square Enix?
No.
Aren't they the ones driving
Might as
the
well ask the
NFTs?
sun to come up
Oh no,
tomorrow.
actually no, it won't because Takashi Kiryu is in that executive officer position, and he's the one pushing for them hard.
Oh, well. Yeah, good on people that have made the jump from... Because I think they're all ex-devs as well. Which
Some of them are still active devs and producers.
weird that they are now executive officers as
Yeah,
well
like-
as... Anyway,
One of them
I don't know
listed
the
is
corporate structure.
Naoki Yoshida, and he's in charge of Final Fantasy 14 and was big important for Final Fantasy 16.
oh man, just pick a Final Fantasy already.
I mean, it was all under his team.
I said what I said. Next up, we are going to chat Dragon Quest. Speaking of executives, not really officer, but producer, Yu Miyake, to step down.
Yeah, he's been with Dragon Quest since the beginning.
Yeah, that's really the only context I have for this, is that he's one of the OGs and he's stepping down.
I recognize this guy.
I think the only OG left is the director of the games, and it
Mr.
seems
Dragon himself.
And it seems like Yosuke
This is Mr.
Saito
Quest.
from
Mr. Dragon's his father.
it seems like Yosuke Saito might be the one that's taking his position. He was a producer on the Nier series and Dragon Quest 11 and 10. So he's got experience with Dragon Quest games, so he'd be able to take over pretty well. Yeah, I don't know what this would mean too much because I'm not big on Dragon Quest. It's just it's a little surprising to see one of the OGs going. But
not that much of a surprise to fan favorite Yuji Naka, who had some strong takes on Twitter.
I'm so proud of Yuji Naka to come out and speak his truth about the situation. He is claiming that he is very happy to see that he's leaving because he believes that he falsified evidence against him. Sorry, let me start using their names. Yuji Naka is happy to see that Miyake stepping down because Yuji Naka believes that Miyake submitted falsified evidence in Yuji Naka's court case. Yuji Naka currently is on good behavior watch. I believe that this I believe that saying this is defamation and could put him back into the justice system and possibly send him to jail for real.
Which would be so funny. I can't believe if that does happen, the lawyer will come out and say, "We found the tweets."
Yeah. And this is all happening because one of the games that Yuji Naka was doing insider trading on was a Dragon Quest game on mobile.
So dumb. So dumb. Anyway, anything from you, Steve? Otherwise, we're going to move on.
I had nothing to contribute to this conversation that isn't just incoherent rambling.
Mr. Naka put down the stocks.
The insides did nothing wrong. Please leave them alone to trade. Well, rounding out a big bunch of articles, bunch of Star Wars Outlaws news. Seems like there's a bit of a mixed bag with this one. I know that a few of us were. I think I was ready to be impressed from when they announced it. I wasn't immediately on board, but it had potential given the seems to be a track record of single player Star Wars games. Once they make it past the launch hiccups, doing reasonably well. So
it looks different for a Ubisoft game as well.
Yeah.
But
But first,
there's always a fucking but with these Ubisoft games, isn't there? Always the theory behind it is good.
Just the execution leaves a little bit desired. So first in the grab bag of articles, it looks like it has way more aliens than any Star Wars games that friend Wes Fenton
Fentanyl.
Fenlin
Saga?
No, Wes Fenlin, senior editor. He wrote an op-ed in PC Gamer talking about this, which is interesting. Which I guess glad there's some selling point for it being a single player experience.
Yeah. Have you watched have either of you watched the trailer itself? The story trailer that released?
I did. I did.
So I need
it looks
I need someone to back me up on this, but I feel like the facial animations are really weird. Like there's some sort of like dead eye look to a lot of the characters, or it's just not emoting enough.
Yeah.
One of the YouTube comments I saw said that it's got the Horizon Zero Dawn vacant stare, like from the nose down. It animates the mouth and the nose really well, but the eyes and the brow don't move. So it looks like this. It half looks good, if that makes sense. And as soon as I read that, I'm like, holy shit, you're right. Which is a very interesting thing to think about.
Everyone's got Botox. That's the exact comparison that I needed. It's the Horizon problem, and yeah, it's all in the eyes is the problem.
Teetering on Uncanny Valley. What I was gonna say.
Yeah, it does.
And you
look
don't really
very
know what's
uncanny.
wrong with it until someone points it out. Excited.
But yeah,
Are we?
the main point of this
close my
first
eyes
article as well is
during
that the
the
game's
cutscene.
coming out on August 30. And yeah, it at first
So what's it
glance,
coming out on, Steph?
I believe it's coming out on everything relevant.
Nah, so fun fact. So
Here we
according
go.
to the Ubisoft press, yeah, see, this is a very Ubisoft thing to do. It is coming out on consoles, the Ubisoft Connect app, and Amazon Luna. There is no mention of Steam or Epic, but people have since found that there is an Epic pre-order page, but there is no Steam pre-order page.
Oh boy,
Which I hope we're all
exclusive
ready
license.
to move to everybody's favorite launcher, the Ubisoft Connect. Or
I
Amazon Luna, which is
believe it'll come to Steam
insane.
later because that seems to be the track record with Ubisoft games. But yeah, launch date it'll probably skip Steam then.
To the
Cool,
Ubisoft
so
Connect mine.
I'm looking forward to maybe a couple months after it's out, but saying that we now have more episodes than players of Outlaws. I just cannot lose it all. Next one, slightly less positive news. It's a quadruple A game because it's being charged at 110 American dollaritos. Jesus Christ.
That's 110 for one of the special editions.
Still, though.
Yeah, it's like 70 for the base edition and then 110 for the base edition plus season pass. Then
Or-
130 for an edition on top of that.
Or $20 a month on Ubisoft Plus mega fantastic subscription service.
Yay.
I don't know. The only advantage I see is that with this being a single player game, if you're really keen on it, you maybe take the $20 a month thing, play it for a month or two, and then leave it. But we'll get to reasons why that's also not a good idea soon.
Yeah, and a lot of people are very upset as well because, and I think this is really stupid, but the season pass has a day one DLC locked behind it as well.
Mm-hmm. Mass Effect 3, we learn nothing.
Yep. Also, I don't have a link for it, but I thought I'd bring it up as well. But people also discovered that the game has a big text pop up on the game's box art that says an online connection is required for it. So for a single player game, you're going to have to probably download like half the game instead of having it all on the disc, or maybe have like log into the Ubisoft servers to be able to play it or something.
I imagine it's
So what happens if I do buy
Ubisoft.
this game? Let's say little Jimmy gets his game for Christmas and he's never connected his Xbox to the internet for whatever reason. He puts the disc in. Does it just be like, we're internet?
Yeah, it'll just be where
Genuinely,
internet.
yeah.
Ah,
And
So-
you know how I know this? Because I
Fucking
made this
grim.
mistake. Because young, slightly dumber me, not by too much, picked up Warhawk for PS3, if anyone remembers that game.
I
Because
do.
that game looked so
I've
sick.
never heard of that game.
I'm not surprised. That
I'm
game looked
Googling.
so sick.
Oh, fuck, it's
Me, you go?
Oh, no. I'm just commenting on like the box art.
Yeah, no, it looks like the time when it came out.
It's an early PS3 third-person shooter with vehicle combat.
Me waiting ages to save up money to buy it, and then didn't read the box where the box said internet connection is required to play this. Assumed, wrongfully, that there would be some kind of single-player content. There was not. The game was like, hey, we're internet. And that's when...
To be fair, you can play that game without internet, but it's still a multiplayer game that requires you either playing it local multiplayer, which I think is just one-on-one, or doing a LAN party setup.
Yeah, you can do LAN, and I think you can do split screen.
Yeah, you can do split screen, but I think it was just 2-player split screen, not 4-player.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I did a couple 1v1s with with siblings. Got old pretty quick because I'm better than all of them. But yeah, where internet was a common theme to really unlock the full potential of that game. And then that's when Patrick had to learn about the wonders of wireless internet connectivity.
But yeah, this is very much following the trend of Ubisoft's nickel and diming the release of the game,
Yeah.
which firmly puts it into wait for a sale.
Actually, do we know how Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is going?
I do not. I never checked in on that.
Mid. Everyone's
Mid.
like, yep, this is a Ubisoft game with an Avatar skin. All the best. Like, it's...
I saw one guy that was really into it.
Is that just because he really likes Smurfs, or?
No, I don't
The
even
opposite
know
of Smurfs.
why he was really into it. He was just like a big shooter for it, saying it was one of his games of the year. Also,
Cool.
I wanted
Happy
to
for
round
him.
back up to that that online thing. Another thing that people were speculating was the game might be over 100 gigabytes to install, and the
course it is.
Xbox discs only hold up to 50 gigabytes, and they didn't want to pay for doing a second disc.
If that's the
Yep,
case, that's the
laugh
most
it up.
Ubisoft thing ever.
I'm not even laughing at the Xbox is only having 50 gigs disc. It's you guys really should have done the second disc instead of going, hey, do half the game over the internet.
Hey, how would you like that day one patch to be the full game?
Imagine like install, like, yeah. I don't have to imagine it happens, but like you plug you put the disc in, it installs, and then it's like, oh no, now we've got to download the rest of the game. Come back in 45 years.
Just
Yeah.
be brave like Final Fantasy
See,
VII Rebirth and Red Dead Redemption 2. Do the 2 discs. People love it.
Yeah, and it's fine. Like you don't have to fuck around with like internet connections or like unsurprising. You open the disc, like, oh, it's 2 discs. I know what I'm in for. One's an install disc, one's a play disc.
Yep, and we're going
fucking
to
around.
touch on why it's important that all of your media, if it is bought physically, remains physical, but we'll get there. Before we get there, though, actually, are we getting there now? We already touched on
we
Jabba the
got
Hutt
one more
DLC.
Ubisoft Star Wars thing. And
Really?
there's people being upset about the Jabba the Hutt DLC being day one.
I thought we touched on that. Not
Yeah,
letting Mass Effect 3.
slightly. I'll just mention what it is.
Yeah, sure.
One of the factions that you'll interact with in the main game is the Jabba the Hutt faction, and there will be like a big storyline related to them. But because of how badly Ubisoft miscommunicates all of their special editions and like their graph of what you get with every single edition, people thought that the Jabba the Hutt stuff was going to be locked in that day one DLC, and they had to come in and go, no, it's just one mission out of the entire Jabba the Hutt storyline, which means it's probably going to be inconsequential and really stupid that they locked behind a season pass.
Yep. Got to nickel and dime your player base.
Gotta
Thanks,
get those
Ubisoft.
pre-orders in.
Give me money.
Yeah, you know what? We should be tipping Ubisoft whenever we buy their games. We enjoyed the Star Wars Outlaws so much that when we finish it, we want to give them another $10 to $20.
I mean, hey, times are tough. They're a big, struggling multinational because of all the repeated failures that they do.
Won't somebody please think of the CEOs and the publishers?
Can you imagine how hard it is for Embracer Group to go to sleep each night, wondering how many people they have to just murder on the spot to sustain the rest of the company?
If only we could tip Embracer Group.
If only. Instead, all of my tips have to go to my landlord instead.
All right, play on.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because that's what Ubisoft is trying to stop people playing The Crew. Boom, what a segue. Where they've announced that the servers are shutting down. Very sad. This is for The Crew 1, I believe, because there's still The Crew 2 and The Crew, the recent one, the one that was trying to go after Forza Horizon, The Crew Motorfest or something.
Motors.
I think it's Motorfest. Motorfest sounds really familiar to me.
Anyway, so not only does Ubisoft not want you playing The Crew 1 anymore, which, okay, fair enough, old game, server's shutting down, but a good chunk of it's single player, but Ubisoft is taking a page out of Nintendo's book and punishing people for having fun by actually removing the license if it's owned digitally in various libraries, which is just chef's kiss shooting yourself in the foot.
I don't know how you come to one of these decisions where you're just like, yeah, no, we're going to start removing everyone's licenses for something they paid for.
Yeah, there'll be something in the end user license agreement that says that they can do this, but like, holy shit.
I don't think end user license agreements are hold up in court either. So someone could make this a court case and Ubisoft could lose it if someone was willing to do it.
I love how the outcome of, like, the funniest thing would be if this does make it to court, and then Ubisoft as punishment for losing the court case, has to gift everyone that they took the licenses from back copies of the Crew 1, which still doesn't work online anymore.
But it would still give those people a chance to try and play it if people do get those single player modes or online restoration mods going.
True, although it would actually be even funnier if the judge ordered them to put the servers back online.
Oh, that would be perfect. Somehow a law gets passed that if you have an online game, you have to keep the servers open.
Oh, excellent.
But look, I say this every time we hear about one of these stories. There was probably like, what, 3 or 4 people that play that game. Like, it's...
You're right, Stephen. I'm coming to your house and taking your copy of Halo 4.
Okay. Like, I'm not gonna... Will I play that game? Should I play that game again? No.
You don't have to say it doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter if you thought you won't or you might. I'm taking it.
I think he's serious.
You know what? Come and take it. But like, how many people are playing the Crew? Like, in my review, I talked about Forza Horizon 5, which is a much better game than the Crew. I'm assuming anyway. I never played the Crew. But it's just kind of like they're taking away the shit that no one's playing anymore. Is that kind of like and I get it. It's the principle. It's the first they came for this argument. Rah, rah, rah.
And I said nothing. No, it's...
Yeah.
It's the principle.
The peak within the past 3 months was 146 players.
Holy shit, that's going to be
Suicide Squad numbers, baby. Holy fucking shit,
that was right before the servers got shut down. Somehow, people are still managing to get into the game. It's in the past 24 hours, it's had 4 players try to play it.
I'm reading that PC Gamer article. It does look like there's some sort of Discord community that is trying to fix it. Sorry, that was trying to fix it with the servers being offline. But if they're taking the licenses, like, there's not much you can do.
I love these moments where Steven goes to bat for a corporation.
Look, I'm not.
Num num. Love the taste of boot.
Ooh, you're acting shit today, sir. Look, I can just, not that I'm defending them, I can just sort of see the rationale behind it.
What rationale?
Well, okay, so hang on.
There is no rationale for taking the license away.
Yeah, okay, all right, sorry. I got twisted up with the server versus the license issue. Sorry,
yeah. You take the servers down, okay. It's sad, but that's understandable. Game's been out for ages. Servers have a certain life expectancy, security patches, everything else. Fine. But there's still a single player component that people should still be able to enjoy.
There was no single player component. Wait, was there a single player component to this one?
I believe there was. Yeah, pretty sure there was.
I think you could play.
A large portion was doable in single player, but the game remained online only. So like they could have removed the servers, but then made like an offline mode for the parts that were doable. But they never did that. They just went no servers down, and now no, you can't play the game. We're taking it away.
Yeah, which that just seems like a weird overreach because I don't know what the downside on Ubisoft is.
Downside of Ubisoft is being Ubisoft.
Yeah, okay, so every day they wake up, that's fine. But it's bamboozling to me.
We should take Ubisoft's license away.
We're working on it. That's why we're not going to buy the Star Wars Outlaw pre-order, right, guys?
I can't wait for them to take away everyone's license for Star Wars Outlaws in 6 months. Hey, you can only buy it for $130 on release, and in 6 months from now, they're going to take it away.
They're like, hey guys, it's reached the end of its content life cycle. Like, it's a single player game that had no live service elements. They're like, yeah, no, sucks to suck. Anyway, the servers are going down, and we're also going to beat you to death with a lead pipe unless you give us your licenses back.
This is why the disc only has half the game on it. So that way, even if you have a disc to try and play it yourself, you can't. Because they removed the online part, they removed the online aspects.
If I thought Ubisoft had that much foresight, I would think that's a genius plan.
Great way to go bankrupt.
Anyway, Yeah, sad day for the crew, but
Sad day for Ubisoft.
I don't know. I feel like you say sad day for Ubisoft one day, you have to say sad day for Ubisoft every day.
It's true.
Every day is a sad day for Ubisoft.
It's true. Finally. Wait. Finally? No. I'm going to do this reverse order. Going to end with the excellent news first. We have a Silksong rating in Australia. Wahoo, ladies and
I put
gentlemen.
that last for a reason.
Oh.
But no, it's okay. Go on. You already said it.
No. Pretend I said nothing. We will briefly, because I don't want to hit all of these, but look through some of the Triple I Initiative showcases. I, for one, am excited by Slay the Spire 2, because Slay the Spire 1 is very good.
Fantastic game. One of the games that's ever existed.
I am a little perplexed, not gonna lie, by Vampire Survivors
That one's very funny.
getting Operation Guns DLC.
That's very funny to me because a big joke in Vampire Survivors is that there's no vampires anywhere. So they finally got a collaboration with Konami in the game, and instead of doing Castlevania, which you would expect, like, you know what? We're going to do Contra. There's no vampires in Contra. That fits with Vampire Survivors.
Okay, that makes it way funnier, actually. What other things interested you two, Steve? Any big interests?
The Power World stuff, obviously, it's always a good thing. I do want to get back into that game. Like, I kind of dropped it like 75% of the way through just because I kind of got the shits with it. And they have sort of said separately to this that they are doing a multiplayer arena update, whatever that looks like. So it'd be PvP. I'm kind of interested as well in that 33 Immortals, which seems to be like some kind of 33 player MMO. And whether it's good or not, who knows? And I'm not even sure if it'll be like a certifiable Steven game. But yeah, I'm sure a bunch of stuff will come up. And I think it's just one of those things that once they come, see, I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff here that like I've heard of, and I just don't care for. Like Never Alone 2. Like I played Never Alone 1. That was a pretty good game, but I don't really care about. Like, not really fussed about it. The Rogue Prince of Persia, just roguelike Prince of Persia. I'm not so fast. Like I'm not fussed, I guess, about any of these.
Steven hates indies
Is that what you wanted
confirmed.
to hear? No, that's not what I said. I said these indies in particular I fucking hate.
Steven wants every indie studio to go under. Got it.
No. Even worse, he wants them all to be bought by Embracer Group.
He wants them all to have their game engine licenses removed.
I want them all to be on
Imagine Unity saying, hey, we're taking down the servers and also taking away your licenses.
Plus, you have to still pay us 20%.
No, good news though.
I will say that I'm very excited about Slay the Spire 2. I'm very excited about that.
I'm glad for that, but I just imagine Unity saying, hey, okay, we know there was some confusion with the license in the past, so we'll do it simple. If you pay us $110, you get to play a mission in Jabba the Hutt's questline.
Oh.
Ubisoft.
No, you.
That's when I noticed that Unity wasn't Unity, but it was in fact a French game development conglomeration. I cannot say that word.
It was three parts of Ubisoft. It was like Ubisoft, like Montreal. I actually don't know the other studios because they shut down a few of them. Quebec. I think Vancouver's still.
Vancouver's still there, I'm pretty sure.
Every now and then I get an email alert saying that Ubisoft Sydney is hiring.
Oh, nice. Either way, it's three of them in a trench coat. There we go. That was the joke.
I'm currently contracted and don't want to go apply for a game that's going to die on release.
Simply overemploy yourself.
The emails
you gotta make shareholder value, man.
The emails are for X Defiant, and that game is dead on arrival.
I thought that was Skull and Bones.
Ubisoft can have more than one game that's dead on arrival.
I thought that was the fighting game from the early 2000s.
No, that's Dead or Alive.
Now that's a video game.
Yes, I will set the boob jiggles to age 99.
Yeah.
Jesus. All right. Slay the Spire, also a big fan. That's cool. Saif, the highlights from you for Triple I.
So even though Steven said he didn't really like it, I was pretty into the Rogue Prince of Persia reveal. That one's being done by
Fuck you.
by the indie devs that did Dead Cells. I still need to get Dead Cells as well.
Dead Cells is cool.
But yeah, that seemed interesting to me. There was a game that basically just showed a teaser trailer and not much no gameplay at all. It was called Rakugaki, but I really liked the style of that teaser trailer they showed, where it was like a sci-fi graffiti core game. So I'll keep an eye on that. There was 2 more for me. Well, 3 more I want to bring up, but 2 more I'm interested in. Gestalt, Steam, and Cylinder is a steampunk. Looks like a Metroidvania. I really like it just for the steampunk aesthetic, and I do. Even though indie Metroidvania is an overcrowded genre, I think the aesthetic alone will get me interested enough to try it out. And there was this weird game called What the Car, where it has a bunch of cars with legs going all over the place. Looks really weird, but like really goofy and funny. So I might give that a check out as well. And the last one I'm going to bring up was that we mentioned that Vampire Survivors was getting the Contra crossover. The game V Rising is getting a Castlevania crossover. So on the show where it's like, hey, Vampire Survivors should have gone a Castlevania crossover, Castlevania showed up for a different game entirely. But yeah, that was all from me. That was all the stuff that caught my interest.
Fair enough. The What the Car thing feels like Kirby's Big Mode. No, Mouth Mode.
Mouthful.
Shit, what was it? Mouthful. Thank you.
Mouthful mode.
Donkey's the thing with Big Mode, eh?
Yeah.
Donkey's
cool.
video game studio is Big Mode. That game of theirs is coming out soon. Frog something.
Yeah. The thing with the frogs. No, I was going to say, what the car just reminds me of Kirby Mouthful Mode, but like on LSD.
Yeah, kind of. I can see that.
Glad that you could see it. Can you also see that we have some Silksong news?
Oh boy, Silksong. So yeah,
that's
what's
right.
Silksong?
Ladies and gentlemen, we did it. They said that They said that all of these would be out in the next year on Xbox, and they were right.
2 years later.
They meant the next year.
I think they meant the year after that, actually. Anyway, so yeah, it has been rated. They did. It's been rated in Australia. It has the same rating as regular vanilla Hollow Knight, which I don't think surprises anyone. But they
2 days ago it was also rated in Korea, so it's getting the ball rolling.
Yeah, it doesn't have a proper release date yet, as far as I can tell.
No. So the reason I wanted to put this on last as well is because during the Triple I Initiative showcase, they were teasing Silksong. They had like a loading screen pop up with hornets plastered all over it, and people got really upset because that teaser showed up, but then they didn't have anything with Silksong show up at the initiative.
So you can say that they got teased.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was like,
hey,
why did you do this? Why did you show off Silksong if you weren't going to show off Silksong? But yeah, it seems like it'll probably be primed to release soon. I think it'll come out within the year.
That's what they said 2 years ago.
But it's being rated now. Look, I will call my shot like Microsoft did. This game will release within the next 12 months.
Oh boy, here we go. Price is Right rules without going over. We will have to wait and see.
So hang on. So Look, I know we probably don't want to talk about it. We've gone a little bit over time this week. Is General Hollow Knight, is that like a 3D platform? Sorry, a 2D platformer?
It
It's
is.
a Metroidvania.
Okay, skipped.
Wow. Rude.
I don't want to hear about it. It's one of the best games of all time. I don't want to hear about it. I've heard it multiple times. You know what other people have said it's one of the best games of all time? The critically
Silksong.
acclaimed RPG Final Fantasy 14. That is
MMO
dog shit. I've been playing
RPG?
that for like 40 hours. Whatever, who cares? Fell asleep halfway thinking about it.
A Realm
It's
Reborn
Fetch
wasn't
Quest
critically
Simulator.
acclaimed.
The thing is, I
A
was
Realm
now-
Reborn was claimed. That's it.
a realm restored. I can't wait. I'm up to patch 2.4. Oh man, I'm nearly there. And then I'm got like I think 15 quests to do from patch 2.4, and then like 11 quests for patch 2.5. Then I'm done. I'm put it down. I will eventually get to the expansions. Get off my back, but I can't. I'm burnt out. That's my Final Fantasy 14 review.
Have fun with the 40-minute cutscene that happens at the end of 2.5.
40 minutes. I better. My
Get some
roommates watch me
popcorn.
play that game. They're like, Steven, you're fucking brain dead. I don't get this game, and I'm like, neither do I. And I'm like, why are you playing it? I'm like, because everybody said it's good. It gets good after you play 50 hours, and my roommates think I'm a psychopath, and they're right to think that way.
Xbox fans just don't understand.
True.
What's it on?
Glad someone said it.
I was right to be gatekept.
Well,
if
if
this is
you're
what
playing
I was
the
missing
second-
out on, but if this was the, you know what? I'm getting revved up again.
I know he's making car
But
noises.
yeah, Hollow
Didn't
Knight
someone
Silksong.
stop
Maybe I
him?
will play it.
Just for you, Stephen, I'll also let you know Final Fantasy 14 was critically acclaimed, but it didn't get the massive popularity boosts and massive reception until Shadowbringers. That's when people started going crazy over it and sucking its dick super hard. And Shadowbringers is what? 5.0.
There you go, Steve. Just a little bit longer. Just another tens of hours.
Shadowbringers is where you'll have to contend with, oh, this is what people saw in the game or not. Also, keep in mind, a lot of people that do that just skip straight to Shadowbringers. They didn't play the older ones.
Interesting.
Like, a lot of new people buy the story skips, and they're wrong to do so.
Hey, whoa, you can buy to skip the story?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
it's
You
an
know what?
MMO.
Let's have this conversation another day.
It's an MMO.
let's
Of
have this
course, you can
conversation.
buy to skip the story.
You can skip the game as well. Can I just pay to like not play the game anymore?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
anyway,
you can
yeah.
actually just subscribe to the game and then never load it. Pay your rent.
And then remember, because you enjoyed how much time you saved by not playing the game, take some of that money and be sure to tip Ubisoft.
Ugh.
Can we move on now?
Yes, I was waiting for you guys to move on. I beg you guys.
I don't think that was true.
Threw myself at your feet with a mouthful of big corporation
Booze.
boot, begging you to move on.
And now we will oblige. No audience question for this week, because we've already spoken for long enough. However, if there's an audience question you want us to get in touch, we're on Facebook at Fast Travel Lounge. X, formerly Twitter. I was about to say Twitter, formerly X. At Fast Travel Lounge, -1 of the L's. Alternatively, tweet at Elon's PsyOp account. I'm sure it'll make its way back to us, and it would be very funny. We're also on, I keep screwing it up, Blue Sky.
That is the one.
Nailed it. FastTravelLounge.social, or what? Apparently you can find us there. I don't know. I don't really use it. Or mailbag, FastTravelLounge@gmail.com. Whatever platform you're listening to this on really helps us out if you give us some kind of like, subscription, call to action, review, comment, and tell us how good Steve's eyes look when you're walking behind him and he doesn't notice you're there, or how the hair just swishes off of his shoulder when you're watching him through his closet doors. He loves hearing that, especially from super fans.
I'm begging you, please don't approach me. Unless you're a corporation, then approach me.
Yeah, then num.
Get your boot out.
For next week, we're at the end of episode 110, episode 111. Any teasers? Nothing from my end. Maybe 3-body problem. Maybe not. We'll see. Anything from you, Seth?
Oh shit! What will I actually be doing over the next fortnight? I have no clue.
Fortnite mentioned.
I'll finish Dragon's Dogma 2 and then I'll figure something out.
Cool.
What am I doing?
What are you doing?
Oh, Prey. I finished Prey, the 2017 Prey over the weekend.
Is that the?
That's a good game.
Oh, I'm thinking of Evolve. Which one's Prey?
It is a arcane game. You ever played Dishonored?
Yes.
Very much. It's from those guys.
Oh, cool.
It's there's an original Prey that came out in the 90s, and this isn't a remake of that. It just has the same name.
I see. Well, you have all of that and more to look forward to next time on Fast Travel Lounge. But until then, I've been Patrick. I've been joined by Seth and Steve. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Happy birthday, Seth. You're just a big little birthday boy.
Wait, what the fuck?